Welcome to Kentucky Derby Live, presented by TwinSpires. I am Danielle Moinet, and I am here at the very windy and freezing cold Churchill Downs, and I am joined by PTF from In the Money Media and Dan the Man Tordjman from America's Best Racing. Are you guys warm?
I wouldn't say warm. Nobody ever said horse racing was a warm weather sport.
That is true.
We're proving it today.
That is true. And I will say we all have hats on. The over-under that my hat stays on. Look at that. Look at that. Mine is clipped in. The ladies win this one. Mine is clipped in. Theirs has no clips, so it may just come off. That's the real betting.
Mad respect to Danielle, who I was here when she arrived this morning. By the way, drove in from Indiana at about 5 a.m. to be here for this show.
My first race, my first Derby.
And it's going to be memorable no matter what. Well, these, of course, compliments of Christine Moore, millinery, cam hats. Look, what we're here to do for the next couple hours is essentially gamble and have a good time. And you see TwinSpires all around us here. There are a number of promotions being offered right now through TwinSpires.com. On the bottom of the screen there, you see Bet 200. If you deposit today, sign up for an account, you get $200 back. There is also a money-back guarantee. If your horse is finished second or third, TwinSpires will give you your money back on win bets. You're looking at the scene here right now at the infield at Churchill Downs. So in a few hours, this is going to be complete pandemonium out here.
It kind of already is.
And we're, look, we're settling. We're going to take you through the next couple of races. I'm glad, Pete, you're with us. It's been a long time coming that me and you do a show like this live on site somewhere, and I'm happy you're here too to cover some of the handicapping over the next couple of races.
My great pleasure. One of the great days of betting in America, one of the great days, period, in America, the Kentucky Derby, the action around us, it's teaming, the people, the outfits, the whole 9 yards, and we're going to help bring it right to your living room.
We're going to make some money here in a little bit, but to start off, we will have live reports throughout the day from this infield area, and we kick it off with one of our correspondents standing by at Churchill Downs here with a little bit of the fashion sense here, what's going on, and it's going to be Rachel Miller here kicking it off with Sarah Klein. Rachel, what's going on?
What's up, guys? Thanks so much, Dan. I'm here with Sarah Klein at Tall Glass of Klein everywhere on all socials. As you can see, she is a fashionable gal.
Oh, thank you, darling.
So what are you wearing today?
Today, listen, we are a girl on a budget, but we are looking fabulous. That's the key. So we have some Amazon heels, can you believe? Listen. And then this dress is actually from an online retailer called Sarah Ashley, who I'm actually new to, and I took a chance on her, and she did not disappoint. So I knew I wanted to do like an old school derby vibe, like floral spring, but also like very 2022. Woo, come on, wind. Very 2022, so I loved the sequin applique. And so I ordered it from her and took a chance, and here we are. This is obviously the unbelievable Christine Moore, who is the official milliner of the Kentucky Derby. She hooked it up with the hat, and so here we are.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And I gotta say, it's part of your theme of like throwing it back a little bit. I went by a whole group of people earlier that were dressed like they were in Peaky Blinders, like had the coats and everything. And I feel like this is just serving up kind of that old school retro realness. So I love it. It's a whole theme. It's a whole vibe.
Absolutely. I think like the Derby is the chance to like throw it back. Like if you want to dress for a theme or dress in like a costume even, cue this. Like this is your chance to do it. You know what I mean? If you love that vibe.
Yeah. So as you can see, we're in the infield, you guys, and it is a wild scene out here. The people watching is crazy, so I might give you guys more of a sneak peek later, but what do you think about what you've seen and just the volume of people out here? There's some of everything, right?
Absolutely. Rachel, listen, I got to be honest with you. I am not used to being like the person who's like understated at any event. Like I'm always doing the most. And so it's been like actually really good for my soul to see like the biggest hats I've ever seen in my life, like people doing literally the most, and I'm like kind of jealous. But no, it's been amazing. I love, and like so many people, you can do anything from like looks like cutoff shorts to like a full-fledged costume, so I'm obsessed.
I love it. I like to tell people that haven't been to the Derby before that this is kind of like Met Gala meets Southern Charm. But it's truly crazy and remarkable, the stuff that you see. But we love it. We're here for it.
100%.
And thank you so much, Sarah.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. What a
And
dream.
she's going to be hanging out enjoying the Derby, so check out her stuff at Tall Glass of Klein, and I'll be back out again here later this afternoon. We'll see what we get into.
Good.
Back over to Dan, and he's got some new guests for you all,
Absolutely.
so enjoy.
Thank you, Rachel. Great job there with Sarah Klein. Sarah is part of a pretty cool initiative that we started at America's Best Racing, along with West Point Thoroughbreds. Terry Finley right here joining us, and Joey Molinaro from everywhere on the internet. And the initiative is called Stake in Stardom, and the idea is you get an ownership percentage in a horse. Sarah is a partial owner. You're a partial owner as an introduction to this amazing sport of ours of horse racing. And thanks to the cooperation from West Point Thoroughbreds, Terry Finley, we've been able to do it. So let me just start off with you, Terry. Just tell us about, sort of in brief, why you decided to take this jump here with Joey and Sarah.
Well, I think the big thing is you guys, over the last 10 years have just done a great job bringing people and introducing our great game, especially to the demographic of Sarah and to Joey. And, I think the coolest thing is that when people get exposed to our business, they can't get enough of it. And to me, I've been in the business for almost 50 years. I love that. I love the people that are fascinated by our business, and I give it to Joey, and I give it to Sarah. Since the beginning of the winter, right? They've really, really got their arms around the business, and it's great to be around so much passion and excitement.
Especially unique today, being Kentucky Derby Day. The first race of the day, the horse that Joey is a part owner in, Vinco, ran in the opener. Tell us, first of all, how you found out that you're going to become an owner in Vinco, and then tell us about the journey to date leading up to today.
Yeah, man. So I got the message from Stephen Panis and America's Best Racing with you guys. Said, hey, we're doing this pretty cool thing, and I would love for you to be a part of it. I said, wait a second. I don't know you anything to get in on this horse? They said, no, that's a great part of it. I said, let's do it. And then it got even better when they said Vinco, and I was like, hey, that sounds paisan. It sounds like my Italian brethren. And so we were very excited, man, and just so grateful to Terry and West Point Thoroughbred. And Vinco didn't run the way that we hoped he would today, but we're still proud of him, and I know he'll put it together soon.
And Terry, as you
I'm
know,
going to jump in, right?
go ahead.
Because he's only run 4 times up to now, and the first start he ran really well.
Yep.
And his third start he ran really well, and his second and his fourth start didn't run very that well. And the common denominator is the second and the fourth time Joey was there. So I will tell you.
Oh, what? I mean, come on now, throwing a little
He
shade
ain't
here.
coming to the next race if I have anything to do with it.
That's totally fine. I said that. I said that to my wife. I said that to the cameras. I said, I knew. I said, I've been there for each one that he's not run that well. I can't come anymore. I'm done. I'm not going.
Our job is to break that streak, and I know we will in his next start.
Absolutely. And the goal is ultimately to get here, to get to the Kentucky Derby, to run in the featured race today, which, by the way, you can watch on NBC at 6:57 p.m., coverage starting at 2:30, actually, on Peacock and on NBC Sports Networks. The goal, as we think about it, and we reflect back just a couple of years, we were lucky enough to be here in 2017, this very day, Kentucky Derby Day, and we were also lucky enough that Terry once again allowed us access to him all day long, so we had the cameras on him and his family when Always Dreaming entered the starting gate in the Kentucky Derby. And if you're unfamiliar with the way it played out, let's go ahead and take a look at what happened.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby. Always Dreaming's going out to the lead with State of Honor.
He's sitting pretty. He's sitting pretty. Oh, he's sitting. They're going to have a tough time with him.
As they turn for home, and it is Always Dreaming in front.
Hey, Johnny! Hey, Johnny! Big fella! Oh, my God!
They're coming to the line, and the dream comes true. Always Dreaming has won the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, my God!
Terry, 5 years later.
How freaking cool is that? Wow. That's some chills right there. Hey,
I mean, could we zoom in on Terry's eyes?
Come on,
you
man.
get some
Zoom
tears
in.
in there?
I'm getting better too, but that still brings the gleam. That
Oh,
still brings the
man.
gleam. Actually, they call me the John Boehner of the racing business, because John Boehner always would get up in the front of Congress and do it. But that's all right. I always say real men cry.
Absolutely, especially after your pony wins the Derby. If you don't cry, what's wrong with you?
What's that like for you to see that? I mean, knowing that you have a stake in this, you can potentially do something like that.
Yeah, well, it's like, hey, whenever you want to get into something, I think that's what I love already from my time with Terry and West Point Thoroughbreds, is I know that they're the kind of folks that it's like when they're in something, they're in it and they're going for it and they want to win. And I'm the same way. And so watching that clip, I'm like, get me there. Give me a part of that at some point. I want to feel that. I want to feel that celebration. And that is just awesome, man. What a great clip from America's Best Racing to be able to capture that. Awesome.
Awesome. Well, Terry, again, thank you for taking the time not only to do that with us back then, to do this today, and moving forward. We hope to build out this program. The whole idea is to bring new people into this sport. Like, it's amazing. Like you said, if you get a taste of it, it's almost impossible not to be hooked. There are so many different elements. We just saw Rachel and Sarah talking about the fashion, the lifestyle. You grab a drink, you come to the races. You don't have to drink if you don't want to. You might want to make a bet. You might want to just hang out. And then ultimately, if you get to the point where you can own a piece of a horse, I mean, how do you beat that?
I don't think you can. I really do. I'm biased, and I think we're all biased because we love the sport. I don't think there's a better industry, or I don't think there's a better game in the entire world. And I talk to guys that are involved in the NFL and everything. I say, you just don't have the juice that all of us have. And it's all about the memories in life, right?
Yeah.
And you think about the fact you can do this with your family, and you can do it on a regular basis, and it's a wonderful game. I think we're all blessed to have it in our lives.
Absolutely. And before I let you go, Joey, I saw you hobnobbing yesterday with some of the celebs around here. Who have you seen? What have you been up to?
Yeah, it's been great. I saw my good friend Kirk Herbstreit yesterday from the face of college football, like I always say, from ESPN College Game Day. Hung out with him a little bit. Today I was on the red carpet. You can catch that video coming soon on America's Best Racing. Ian Rappaport, Jimmy Johnson, Desmond Ritter. Just got drafted by the Falcons. Joey Fatone from NSYNC.
The best,
your lookalike.
The best member of NSYNC, in my humble opinion.
We had a Joey and a Joey, so I mean it's just phenomenal. And like Terry's been saying, I mean once you're here, you're part of it. Nothing better, and I couldn't be more thankful.
All right, Joey Molinaro, Terry Finley, thank you so much for spending a couple of minutes with us here on Kentucky Derby
Get your
Day.
White Claws, baby.
Oh, I'm
Get
about
'em.
to jump back in, baby. You know how we do. So we are here for TwinSpires. There you see one of the beautiful spires here at Churchill Downs, and the American flag blowing gloriously in front of it. And we want to remind you that you can bet the Kentucky Derby with TwinSpires. Lots of promotions going on today, all day long. All you have to do is go to TwinSpires.com, use that promo code BET200. You're going to get $200 in free money. And beyond that, if you use promo code ABR25, you'll also get a free $25 risk-free bet to kick off your day. And as a reminder, existing players just signing up today, if you bet a horse to win up to $10, you will get your money back if that horse finishes second or third. You cannot really beat that. And as we look up, there is a race about to go off. Pete, you got an opportunity here if you want to give a quick opinion on what I believe is now being called the Knicks Go Stakes. What do you got?
Indeed, I'm playing the number 8 Injunction here as they are off at Churchill Downs. Do we talk through the race or do we throw?
Let's talk through it. What's going on? What are you
All right,
seeing?
let's see. Now, the plan in betting this horse was that we'd get out and get an easy lead. That hasn't exactly happened, but at least we're up in the vanguard here. Stalking, the number 5 Gunnet. The other interesting horse in here is Dream Shake, the number 4. This is a runner that was a contender for the Triple Crown Series last year. They actually had an opportunity to run in the Derby, decided that it would be in the better interest of the horse long term to skip that opportunity. He's just gotten back started on his 4-year-old campaign, and we'll see what he's got here as they're about to head into the turn here in the Knicks Ghost Stakes.
I'll tell you what. I was going to say Frosted Grace was having a good first first half, but he's really slipping back there.
Yeah, it's tricky. You know, with these races, it's not how you start,
Yep.
it's how you finish.
That is true.
And the pace here is heating up in the middle portion of things. My Injunction is right there. Dream Shake is right there. But so far, nobody's headed Gun It with Luis Saez up a rider I know
Right.
you've had some success
We love Luis. I will say with Irad on the inside right there, Irad could really make a run for it right here.
Flavian Pratt,
I
though,
won
has now
Flavian.
slipped through on the inside with number 4,
three.
Dream Shake. A lot of running left to be done. There's closers coming.
3 Technique is just flying.
Yeah, down the center of the
3
track.
Technique.
Rafael
3 Technique
Bejarano.
with the lead.
Looks like 3 Technique is going to get there ahead
Flying.
of them all.
At
With,
36 to 1.
36 to wow.
That's a serious price. Now this horse,
Look at that.
he was very well fancied
Wow.
earlier in his career and has sort of undergone a real renaissance here in the Knicks Go Stakes at 36 to 1, having been claimed a few starts back.
And you could have used TwinSpires to bet on that. And you could have got your money back because I'm sure not a lot of people had bet on him.
So the good news is
That's
I didn't
incredible.
really have time to give my opinion pre-race, so I didn't cause anyone to lose money there.
I tell ya.
That's a tricky result, but
Wow.
boy,
What was he?
very
Was he
impressive
at
finish.
30 to 1 right before the race?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was
Wow.
basically the pools on a day like this. They're a lot more stable than an average day. One of the reasons
Yeah.
why it's so great to bet on Derby Day. The prices will still move some, but typically there's so much money in the pool, you pretty much know the exact price you're going to get.
That's incredible. Well, congratulations to that team. We've seen a lot of underdogs come out today, right?
I mean, yeah,
Not
look.
as much as that.
Days like today, people get hyper-focused on the Kentucky Derby, and rightfully so, but there are opportunities earlier in the day to bet these races. And as we mentioned, you bet with TwinSpires. You have fun with a horse like that. You like that horse even a little bit at that price. If you don't think he can even win, if you're like, hey, maybe he'll hit the board, you're going to get your money back for second or third. But heck,
Yeah.
if he wins, all the better. A $10 bet returns $370 on that horse.
Wow.
It's a good point you make, Dan. When you have a horse at that price, you don't need a whole lot of reasons to put your money in your pocket, put
Yeah.
your fingers on your keyboard when you're dealing with a 30 to 1 shot. I wasn't clever enough to come up with it, but good on you if you did.
Yeah. Amazing.
I did like the 8 a little bit, Injunction, as you mentioned. Did the 8 finish second?
No, it ended up fading, I think, or
8 was up there.
okay, you know, it's so
I don't
funny. I was
know.
so taken by the winner that I wasn't paying as much attention to the minor
So,
awards. Clearly.
That was Jose Ortiz, yeah?
Yeah, it came 3-8-7. So Injunction
3-8-7,
did end
yeah.
up hanging around. It was Dream Shake that faded, and South Bend made a bold bid to get up there
Yeah.
into third.
So we have more races coming up, more races to bet on. The next race is the Pat Day Mile at 1:56 Eastern. So we have a little bit of time, and that one we will dig into. We'll provide some handicapping analysis. Danielle, it's been a minute since we've seen you
Yes.
on ABR shows. What have you been up to?
Other than putting on my denim jacket. Guys,
no, in
we
life.
started out the broadcast really cute, and now we've come here.
I don't know, it's kind of a hip look.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. My dress lady's not going to love it. So, yeah, I mean, it's weird when we have this downtime from horse racing. I forget that we have this job, and then we
Yeah.
come around to it.
But you've been doing cool stuff.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it what's the legendary thing you have going on now?
Oh, well, I returned to WWE.
Yeah, there was that.
That's a big deal.
Oh my gosh, I had a pay-per-view in January, and yeah, I was in the Royal Rumble. They've only had women's Royal Rumbles this was the 5th year, so when I grew up watching it with my dad, I never saw women do it, and I knew I always wanted to be a wrestler, but I never fathomed being in the Royal Rumble, so that was a really cool opportunity. It had been 5 years since I stepped in a ring, and I may have some opportunity to wrestle another time coming up soon.
Love to hear that.
So yeah, so I've been doing that. Just got to the Bitcoin convention. I was down in Miami for that. And NFTs are just taking off, which will be interesting in horse racing if there'll be any kind of crossover. So I was there doing that. I don't know. I feel like I always am doing something.
That's
I was
plenty.
in Dubai, Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Where else? I love Dubai. Can I go to Dubai horse racing? Who has
Sure.
the plug?
Yeah, we
Isn't
know
that like a
people.
really big thing?
Oh my
over
God,
there?
yeah, Dubai World Cup. We know some people.
Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh, it is,
Get you over
y'all.
there.
I went for 3 weeks in February and I did travel blogging and I did some like trades with hotels, so for influencer work. It is amazing. It is so safe, so clean, no drugs, no crime. I mean, mostly because, they'll just take your hands, but
Yeah.
it's like really, it was amazing, and I loved it. Lots of young, hungry entrepreneurs.
For sure. Now, you mentioned taking a long break. We call that in racing a
I know.
layoff, right?
Yeah.
A layoff from is it intimidating to jump back in? I mean, I know it's like, you maintained your conditioning, you're in great shape. I mean, but is it still
For
intimidating?
wrestling. I think you meant horse racing.
No, for wrestling specifically.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I mean, I probably should have practiced and got back in the ring a little bit.
There was a little ring rust. Is that what you're telling
but
me?
I was like, you know what? Like when the adrenaline's going, you just, the bumps hurt less and getting punched in the face hurts less. So I just said, you know what? I'm just going to go out there and do it. So I got in really good shape. Like I was in the gym a lot and I dieted for like 5 weeks straight. It was pretty good, but it was a secret. So I didn't tell anyone forever. And then Vince McMahon decided to tell everyone 2.5 weeks before, 3 weeks before.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh no. So we did like a big marketing lead up to it. So yeah, it's super intimidating for
It's
sure.
interesting to me. There's a real connection in the fandoms between wrestling and horse racing.
Oh,
I mean,
for
You
sure.
certainly see this play out in horse racing Twitter. Where there's a
Yeah.
lot of people, myself chief among them,
Yeah.
who really enjoy both worlds and see almost even some weird parallels.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover between horse racing, WWE, and crypto as well. Like, there's a lot of like the crypto people at these conferences are wrestling fans. But yeah, I mean, horse racing is just so fun. So I think any kind of spectator sport, there's a lot of crossover as well.
We're starting to see some of that too with like a game, crypto-based game like Zed Run.
Oh yeah,
I
Zed
don't know if
Run.
you've
Yeah,
seen
of
much
course.
of that, but
Yeah.
it's really, really interesting. I
Yeah.
still don't really like even 100% understand it, but
Yeah.
I'm very, very interested to learn more.
Yeah, I would love to talk to the Zed Run people. So if anyone's watching, make sure to hit me up.
There
But
may be
yeah.
a podcast in the
It's-
works on this topic that we will be very happy to book you as a guest on.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Like, so many people have told me about Zed Run, and like, generally speaking, even last year at
Preakness, yep.
we were talking about just like Triple Crown and NFTs and like how they can incorporate it, but it's hard because there's no overall governing body of horse racing. There's no like NBA.
Right.
So that's a little hard because there's owners of the horses versus organizations. So it's just interesting to me because there's no rules.
Yeah, sometimes I think we would be better off if we were able to act
I
like a little
agree.
more of a league.
I agree.
But it's the nature of the beast, and it definitely makes like ideating about new things tricky at times.
Yeah.
But the good ideas have a way of bubbling to the surface.
For sure, and same with crypto too. There's a big misconception that they don't want rules and that we don't want a governing body in Bitcoin and crypto, but if there was laws laid out, then businesses would be able to form and be able to be structured more, and be able to have more NFTs and be able to trade and have fiat versus crypto. So
Yep.
it's interesting.
So there's 30 minutes to post now to the Pat Day Mile, so I promise you we'll get into some handicapping. We did talk about the scene around here, the scene around Louisville on Derby Week. One of the guys who I got to know a couple of years back around here is a guy named Joey Wagner. He's essentially like Mr. Louisville, is a promoter for everything.
Yeah, sounds
He's
familiar.
actually standing by. We're going to see if we can
okay.
get him onto the screen here. Joey, come on over.
Hi.
Come on over. I'm going to actually step out because
Okay.
I want you guys to talk to him about everything going on, everything that's been going on here on Kentucky Derby Week
Okay,
in
great.
Louisville. So Joey Wagner, come on in.
Are you gonna give me coffee, something
Oh,
warm?
you need something
while
warm,
I'm
some
gone?
tea maybe?
I just want something warm. Hi, how are you? Good. Welcome to Kentucky Derby Live.
Thank you. No, this is great. It's been a great day so far.
Amazing. So you live here,
Yeah, I live in Louisville.
and you've been in the promoting scene for a while?
Yeah,
or?
so we kind of do the biggest events at the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so we started on Wednesday with Jocktails, raises a bunch of money for the permanently disabled jockeys fund. So it was a great night. We had like 30 jockeys bartending for charity.
Oh, fun.
So super cool.
Oh my God, I love that.
Thursday night we had Cinco de Derby, obviously Cinco de Mayo, brought
Yeah.
in DJ Vice, one of the biggest DJs in the
Yeah.
world. And then last night was crazy. We did Diplo and Irie, which
Yeah.
was insane. And then tonight we got Jack Harlow's album release party. So
Oh, amazing.
full week, but busy.
Diplo was at Preakness last year,
Yeah,
so
he's
he
so
must
good.
have like a horse racing connection somehow.
He plays some of the biggest events in the world.
Yeah,
and he
that's
loved it.
good. I from Nashville, and there was a lot of country artists that came down last night and went to an event. So maybe that was it.
Yeah,
I'm
Morgan
not sure.
Wallen was at our party last night.
I know Morgan.
Yeah, him and Darius Rucker, so that was cool.
Yeah.
They were super nice.
And Jason Aldean's here.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it's nice finally for the COVID restrictions to be lifted up, because this time last year it was just such a different vibe here, and it was a little
ghost town.
Yeah, it was a little restrictive, and I know like a lot of the celebrities and athletes didn't come out, so it's nice to see that they're coming out.
No, it's so good to be back.
Yeah, amazing. So what do you do for the rest of the year, like to keep the horse racing alive?
Yeah, so obviously we work with the Breeders' Cup. We work out at Del Mar for opening day, do a big event out there. So we just kind of keep it busy. I mean, obviously we do a lot of other events all over the country outside of horse racing.
Yeah.
You know, just
Super
other sporting events, different things. But horse racing, you know, being a kid from Louisville, Kentucky, and growing up in horse racing, to be able to have a big role in helping bring the cool factor to horse racing, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, horse racing is such a fun sport, but it's like the things that we can do off the track to make the experience of the Kentucky Derby is super special to me, and we just want to continue it to do that to help grow the sport.
Amazing. And Breeders' Cup is in Kentucky
Lexington.
again. Yeah.
Yep.
Lexington. So wait, so that's not here. It's not at Churchill.
It's about an hour away.
Okay, great. And so that'll be different, or because I've only been to Breeders' Cup in Del Mar.
Well,
so
Peter, I mean, you know, obviously it's a big money.
Oh yeah, it's an incredible venue. I mean, you know, Churchill Downs is Churchill Downs.
Yeah.
Keeneland, though, is definitely one of the temples of the sport, the seat of the breeding industry.
Yeah.
So very much of a different
and a
vibe.
beautiful track.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it's such a great opportunity to go there and be able to visit horse farms and see some of the equine stars of yesterday plying their new trade. I love that whole area, but, you know, there's nothing like Louisville and the Derby, that's for sure. How does it feel as a native Louisvillian to see the success a guy like Jack Harlow's had and have him involved in the mix? He's going to be doing the call the post today?
Yeah, that's my guy, man. I'm proud of Jack. You know, I've known him for a long time, and right when he was coming up, and he's just a good kid.
Yeah.
He's a humble kid. You know, he doesn't forget where he comes from. I mean, you know, he reps Louisville hard, real hard.
Sure.
And he promotes the city really well, and I'm just proud of him. I mean, you know, when you work at your craft as hard as he does, and, you know, he deserves everything that he's gotten, and it's a blessing. And I know he's super excited, and the album dropped yesterday.
Yeah, I was listening to the Churchill Downs song on the way here.
Him and Drizzy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the album dropped yesterday, so the album release party tonight. So
cool.
it's good. I'm proud of him, man. He's good.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you
for
guys. We
coming
appreciate
on.
it.
Of
Who we betting in the
course.
Derby?
I'm Team Mo Donegal. You've got a hunch play. I think you've got to go with.
I met all the owners the other night. All the Mo Donegal owners were at Jockey. They were great dudes. I'm going to have to bet on that just for sure.
Who do you have?
I don't know. I like Messier. I mean, he's a good horse. I mean, he's got to get out of the gate good. If he gets out of the gate good, has a shot. But, I mean, it's the Derby. I mean, a lot of horses,
Anything.
man.
I mean, the last horse that just won was 30-1.
I hope that horse comes in 30-1. That would be good for the payday. I appreciate you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Thank
you for coming
Cheers, buddy.
on. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. And I love Keeneland. So I went to Keeneland for the first time last year. Such a different track.
Oh, yeah.
To say that they're 1 hour away from each other.
It's the most English. I do a lot of racing in England, and it's definitely like in a lot of ways the most English style course. Especially, you know, there's definitely some formality there. Now, there's areas where you can hang out and gamble. That's where I typically go to hang out. When I wander into the fancy area, I'm worried I'm going to be shot on sight. but it is, you know, don't mess with those green coats. That's all I have to say.
Somebody wandering around the infield right now for us is Rachel Miller. Rachel is standing by with yet another guest. Rachel, who you got?
What's up, guys? Back out in the infield. The party is raging. I grabbed Nick here. Say what's up.
What's up?
So, okay, this is my first time at the Derby, let alone in the infield, and I gotta say the scene is wild. What's the craziest thing you've seen out here?
Probably a lit cigar being put out on a guy's ass. That takes the cake.
Wow. I don't even know how to respond to that. Honestly, you guys, was this just out in broad daylight?
Yes, it was a very sunny day, and it was right over here. There was a little bar right here. I still remember it, and I mean, everybody could see it.
Okay, so that wasn't today. This was in past years.
This was in past years, yes.
Okay, and you're here with a whole group of dudes.
I am.
I saw.
30 of us.
30?
Yes.
And you guys all made the trip out to Louisville just for this?
Just for this.
And it was a canceled bachelor party that you had to reschedule?
It was a rescheduled bachelor party from the COVID ages of 2 years ago, so we're very excited.
That's real commitment. Sending it to a bachelor party 2 years after the fact, and with memories of cigars being burnt out in undescribable ways, forever etched in your memory. That's bonding. You all are bound for life now.
We are bound.
So, who you got in the Derby later today?
Smile Happy all the way.
Just because of the name, or what?
Yes, just because of the name.
That is something.
20-horse field, anything can happen.
It's so true. I personally am someone that's all about the long shots just because you don't know what's going to happen. It is all down to chance. I always love to think of Mind That Bird, 50-1 odds in 2009. So there's hope if you bet on a long shot. And so best of luck with Smile Happy today.
Thank you.
And have fun with the rest of the boys. Hopefully you don't see anything too crazy the rest of today, but I'll get more for you guys later. Back over to Dan and Danielle.
Rachel, I'm becoming increasingly concerned tossing to you in the infield. Good job finding our man there. And he's picking Smile Happy. He's going with names. The one thing I know that I'm excited about, even though she's not currently paying attention to it, she saw a bird fly.
Bird fly. Look, it's like a bird flew. Oh my God! But I think it's injured.
Oh, wait, go back to Rachel. What's going on?
Injured. Oh no.
Let's go back. Rachel, are you with the bird?
I think it's injured.
Oh no. Is that right? Is everybody okay? Is the
Flew
bird
into
okay?
our shot. So basically, a bird just flew into our shot. Well, and I think it's injured, and now I'm so sad.
I think it's okay. I think it flew off. I think we could provide that update. It flew off. It's okay.
That was so random. So yeah, a bird flew into the TwinSpires tent here, hit one of our guys in the chest.
Who did it hit? Did it hit Clay?
Yes.
Yeah,
hit him in the chest. And then
Maybe it was just a chest bump. It was just a little chest bump.
And then it fell into one of the bags there. So he fished the bird out of the bag and was holding him for a little bit. And then the bird flew away and then dive bombed Rachel.
Oh my God. All right, Ren Carruthers has now joined us on the set. Quite an introduction, Ren. Ren,
the bird was excited to see me.
we just had a guy out there saying he was picking his Derby winner based on his name. I know you don't believe in that.
Oh, those type of angles? Well, maybe I should have, because that 2-year-old that ran second the other day had a big price. It was from the family of Monique Renee and Kissin Renee, and I didn't go with it. So I should have used that horse. But that being said, how is your day going, guys? I've missed you. I've been running around.
Yeah, we saw each other earlier.
That's right.
Bumped in a little bit. We're just staying warm.
Yeah, I know. It's a little bit chilly out there. I've been hanging out with some Hall of Fame jockeys, in particular Sandy Hawley and Koharu Tsuchiya Hawley today for Derby experiences, so that's been great.
But what's Derby experiences?
It's basically just a group. They're here with Churchill and basically putting together an experience for the people who want to hang out and enjoy the Kentucky Derby in style. So it's been a blast, and it's just fun to also introduce jockeys like this. I had Gary Stevens and Chris McCarron yesterday. But what about you guys? What are we thinking about Derby as the days now progressed?
I think I'm going with Charge It. I think I really liked how he looked in the coming out of the Florida Derby.
I thought he was better than White Barrio. Or if he had stopped just being green and stretch, he would have won.
Right. Yeah, of course. And he had a lot of dirt thrown in his face, a lot of things that happened. So what about you?
Well, I'm on Taiba still. I mean, people might think I'm crazy. The horse would have to win the Kentucky Derby in just the third start of his career. No horse has done that since Leonidas, or that's the only horse that's done it, actually. But why not? You got Mike Smith. He would become the oldest jockey to win the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, wait, is that who you were telling me about last year? Like the old guy?
Well, he's the oldest guy in it, right? Well, actually, it's Lannery.
No, the one guy's like in his 70s.
How old is Corey?
Oh, no, that was like Perry Oots, I think, who was like 70 years old.
No.
John Court, but John Court's not riding this. He's like,
there's
he's
one
out
guy
right
that's
now.
like in his late 60s,
Oh,
like
I
gray
know
hair.
It's Perry Oots,
yeah,
right?
Perry Oots.
Perry Oots. No, but Mike Smith is 56 now, right? And if he
solid.
wins,
That's not old.
It's 56, right?
I think it's 54.
All right.
Wait, now I gotta look it up.
Whatever it is, if he wins, he will become the oldest jockey. If the 12 horse Taiba wins, becomes the oldest jockey in the history of horse racing to win the Kentucky Derby.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's take a look real quick at what happened last time when Table
Running a giant race on the outside, 3/16 of a mile to run, and it's Messier and Taba 1-2. Forbidden Kingdom 5 behind. Inside the 8th pole, Messier, Taba running lights out on the outside, and here's Taba getting the upper hand in the final stages. The run-happy Santa Anita Derby goes to Taba under Mike Smith. Messier was second, Happy Jack third, Armagnac finished fourth.
Okay, so bottom line, I mean, it's very well possible that he doesn't even hit the board. It's a lot, again, to ask a young horse anyway. All these 3-year-olds, even the ones that have more experience than he, they're going to go through something today that they've never been through before. The throng of crowds, all of this, a 20-horse field, and a mile and a quarter, okay? So all that being said, yeah, maybe he doesn't even hit the board. But if he does, then I think he proves to be an absolute freak, because what we've seen from him already in the start, putting up a triple-digit buyer in the debut, going 6 furlongs, and then putting up another triple-digit buyer from off the pace, you know, routing for the first time, incredible. So I want to see a freak today, bottom line.
Amazing. And what would be your trifecta pick?
Oh gosh, I would use him, I would use Epicenter, and I would use, I got to root for the Sonos, right? Simplification. And
Yeah.
Charge It, I mean, if you want to rotate that in a different way,
Yeah.
I think Charge It has some upside for sure.
Amazing.
All right, Ren Carruthers, thank you for
Thank
stopping
you.
by yet again with
Thank
us here on Kentucky Derby Live. Ren, going back to have some fun. She deserves it. It's been a long couple of days for Ren. She's been doing these shows with us. She's been handicapping. She's been doing tours with Derby Experiences, as she mentioned. And Ren also mentioned a horse named Epicenter.
Yeah.
This horse is really, really interesting. I don't know if he was overlooked maybe on the morning line, not declared the morning line favorite. The last time we checked, and we can take a live look now.
What's his line at?
So let's take a look at the live odds here for the Kentucky Derby. We have Mo Donegal down on the rail at 8-1, but Epicenter is 5-1 right now.
Wow.
As we scroll through, Messier is 7-1. Zandon, who was the morning line favorite, is currently 8-1.
Yeah.
Taba is 5-1, the one that we talked about a moment ago with Ren. And then everything else is pretty high after that. White Barrio, 11-1. The horse that we both like, Charge It, is currently 13-1.
Solid.
Yeah. Peter,
I mean, there's just so many good choices. It's just so hard.
Contention runs deep, and you can tell when you look at a race and you see a 5-1 favorite. That's not something you see very often in American racing, and it speaks to just how deep and competitive this Derby field is, and how tough of a job it was to make the guesses that the morning line maker had to make. Which, you know, now this is real money people are betting, and I honestly don't expect them to change too much between now and post time.
And who is in charge of that? Like, is it one person that does the morning line?
Yes, the track has an employee whose thankless job it is when there's people who do podcasts and, you know, criticize your work who aren't making a line themselves, like me. Thankless job of one person to make just a guess as to what the betting public is going to do. No actual money changes hands on the morning line, and you have to keep that in mind. It's just an educated guess, and now that we have actual data from some of the bets coming into today, and also the betting for the day and a half since it's been open, much better idea of what the price is going to be.
I mean, that's a lot of pressure.
It really is.
I wouldn't want that job.
No, nor would I,
Like
which is why I
that?
should keep my mouth shut more than I do
Like
about
that, like a tax accountant. Like, there's many jobs I wouldn't want.
Yeah, meanwhile,
You know?
says the wrestler who's like does crypto conventions and also horse racing.
Like, that's a fun job.
Yeah.
There's
not
two
the
things.
morning line. Like, is he under like witness protection? I feel like people could be mad at him, right?
Potentially. I mean, Pete's been upset a time or two.
There's two things you never hear anybody say at the racetrack. When they have a winner, you never hear them say, "Oh, I wish I'd bet less on that horse."
Yeah.
And you also never hear them say, "Oh man, what a great morning line that was."
Yeah, that's true. That's true. People do what they want to do, really, at the end of the day. Interesting.
Pete, we got to get into the Pat Day Mile in a moment, but first, as we look at these live odds, I know you have a little bit of a story with Mo Donegal. You actually have a future wager. For those who don't know how that works, how does that work? And tell me about some of the, you know, what you've got invested in Mo Donegal even before today.
Well, I do a lot of work in the UK, and over there it's different. There are what are known as anti-post markets. So you can basically be betting on the Kentucky Derby for months ahead of time, and you get a fixed odds price. So after the Wood Memorial, Mo Donegal's last race, where I thought he was really good, I saw there was one of my trips over there, some 14-1 on Mo Donegal. So I'm locked in at that price. I do think that the rail draw where he is a little bit tricky. It's certainly not where I would have chosen, but I'm hoping with Arad Ortiz aboard, a rider who, I know you admire his skill tremendously, as do I. With him aboard, with him having ridden the rail in this race last year, and with this new starting gate configuration where the inside is now a little bit off the outside rail. It actually used to be tucked inside, where horses would almost have to make a right turn out of the gate to go straight. That's not the case anymore. This is a much fairer setup, and I think Mo Donegal has every chance to make a big run, especially if the pace, as expected, ends up being a bit fast in this race.
Has Irad been on him all season?
Actually, he was not on him last time. Joel Rosario rode him and rode him amazingly well in the Wood Memorial, but understandably decided to stick with Epicenter, a horse who I think consensus is going to be the favorite in this race and one he's had much success with. That's a really tough job for jockeys and their agents when you have two major contenders for a race like the Derby, and the agents earn their money, I think, helping them guide which horse to take in those situations. We'll see. It could be a decision that Rosario regrets if I'm right about Mo Donegal.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I just think it's such a personal thing, like the trainer and the horse and the vibe, and for people to change. It happened last year with the number 5 horse. They put Irad on it, but it was supposed to be. This
was the, I think it was the Florida Derby winner, whose name I can't remember right now.
And I can't remember. And so they changed it last minute, and they were telling me it's just a better jockey. And like, when they found out, did they find out the night before? Did they find out the day of? And it was like all this drama. And I was like, they need the Real Housewives of jockeys. Like, they need the Real Housewives of like horse racing, because it was so much drama.
There's a lot of drama.
But then with the prize money and you see what's happening, it's like, I think it was Tyler. They pulled Tyler off of the horse,
That's right.
maybe.
Yeah.
And it was just interesting because I'm like, that's not fair. Like, he's built that horse up until now, along with the trainers, but.
I have a similar way of thinking to you. I love it when they stick with the rider who got them qualified for the race, essentially. But I do have sympathy for the point of view. The Derby has such a prominence in this game. If you're in horse racing, I've had trainers and owners tell me this. You meet somebody at a cocktail party, absolute first question you're going to get asked: have you ever won the Derby? Have you been in the Derby? It's all about the Derby, and that pressure, I think, makes them think, well, gee, if I can get a 0.5% edge by making this decision and pulling in a Hall of Famer like John Velasquez or whomever, I can see why they make the decision, but it is always nice when they dance with who brung them, as it were.
People say that with us too. They're like, oh, WrestleMania, like did you win a match at WrestleMania, did this and that? And I'm like, there is so much more than WrestleMania. Like, and it's frustrating because you can be the best wrestler in the world and win tons of stuff, but maybe not have had your WrestleMania moment. So
It's a spectacular comparison. That's
really
exactly
is a
it.
dead-on analogy.
Because it's frustrating when people bring it up. You're like, oh, shut up.
Do you realize the other stuff I've done?
I'm like, oh my God, I've done wrestled everywhere in India. Like, what do you mean? WrestleMania.
All right, time to pop in our earpieces because we've got a special guest here. I think you're going to try to use this one. Calling in from his home OTB is our good friend from ESPN College Game Day, Chris the Bear Felica. Chris, big time horse player. Chris, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Right now, I've got the races up on the laptop, and I got this insane Djokovic-Alcaraz match on the screen right now. But that'll be getting it's a 5-5 in the third set. It's completely bonkers. But we 3 technique ruined my morning, blew me out of everything. I mean, that was
you and a lot of other people.
I was going to say that was an impossible horse to have. But hey, it happens, and get some other prices along the way. We'll make up for it.
Chris, we got the Pat Day Mile. We've been talking about this race for about 30 minutes that we were going to preview it, and so no better time than now. What's your analysis of this one?
Can you answer the question? If Jack Christopher is ready to run off of the long layoff, if he is, he wins. If he's not, I would take a look at Major General, shortened back just a little bit from that run in the Lexington. Broke his I shouldn't say broke his maiden, but he won the Iroquois last year at Churchill Downs. So if you're against and you're in the school of thought that you don't want to swallow the short price on Jack Christopher, I would take a long look at Major General there from Don Fletcher.
Pete, how did you see this one?
I'm hearing that Jack Christopher is ready to come back to the races fully formed. And if that's the case, I truly do believe that everybody else is running for second. One of the angles I like to look at with a young horse, a 3-year-old this time of year, is what kind of figures were they running as a 2-year-old, because you can pretty much count on the fact that they're going to be better and faster now. In developmental terms, it's like a high school athlete now coming back, and in college, junior year or whatever, you're going to expect them to be faster. If Jack Christopher's faster, he could put on a show.
And for those watching who don't know the background with Jack Christopher, of course, I mean, this was a horse who was probably going to go off. He was going to go off the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, right? I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say.
No worse than second choice.
Oh, yeah. And here, he scratched. This is his first race back off of a pretty long break. So, again, that is the big question. Is there a way around him? Does he return and does he take a step forward off that 2-year-old form, or does he not? If he doesn't, though, I'm going to throw this out there because I actually love a horse in the next race, which is the Derby City Distaff. I'm actually going to play a double here. I love Edgeway in the Derby City Distaff, given the scratch of Lady Rocket. That was going to be my best bet of the day. That horse scratch, Edgeway now, to my eyes at least, is lone speed there and potentially coasts. So I'm going to try to catch a few prices. The ones that I like potentially on the cutback are Papa Cap, the 3-horse, the 12-horse O Captain. I also like Tejano Twist a little bit. I may be out of my mind, but that horse just looks kind of sneaky to me. Chris, what do you think?
You've got angles on the cutback. I mean, you hear Doppelganger's in good form, and he's obviously getting played as well. If you're looking for a long shot price, maybe if Jack Christopher is ready to run, and you're looking to maybe boost your price there, what about a horse like Trafalgar, who broke his maiden at Churchill Downs last year, 4-5, and failed in the graded stakes races at Fairgrounds, but maybe coming back to Churchill might do the trick, and he's a huge number, so you could maybe put me in for a little 5-9 exacta as well.
I like that.
I was going to say Trafalgar.
There we go.
A lot of love for Trafalgar. You bring up a really cool point, Dan, about the turn back or the cut back in distance. It's one of the angles that sharp horse players are always looking for. When you've been running in a longer race, especially as a 3-year-old this time of year, everybody gets Derby fever. So a lot of times they're going to be running a little bit farther maybe than is optimal to see if they're a candidate for the race like the Kentucky Derby. Sometimes then that doesn't work out and they go back in distance, and it's sort of a double whammy in their favor where they're running at a distance they're more suited to, and they've got extra fitness from having gone farther in those earlier races.
Danielle, you see what I'm doing.
I was going to say,
tell people what I'm doing.
He's betting, guys. He's over here.
Beautiful.
He's going hard on TwinSpires. I'm not going to lie.
Beautiful. Well, good. Well, he's going hard on TwinSpires. I'm going to segue into the cutback angle because I want to skip ahead to the Churchill Downs stakes race 10. Like, do you think that Jackie's Warrior might be better just at 6 furlongs and 7, and she might be really vulnerable today? Like, I think what we saw, the cutback from Prevalence to a mile to 7 furlongs, was a good thing. Like, I think Mind Control, who's running a mile before, back to 7 furlongs now off of that layup. I think if you use Prevalence and you use Mind Control, you might be able to get Jackie's Warrior late today. Like I think that extra furlong could really be a problem for her today. For him today.
I hear where you're coming with that. I do worry about anybody else being able to run early with Jackie, and I love Joel Rosario on a front runner. He just has a way of getting them to go a little bit farther than the paper suggests. So I'll be using Jackie's Warrior in a bet like the pick 6 that starts here, but I will definitely be backing up, and I think you mentioned, to my mind, 2 of the interesting ones in Prevalence and Mind Control. And sometimes unexpected things happen in racing. Yep. And if the pace does heat up, if Prevalence decides he wants to go right to the lead with Jackie's Warrior, it could set up for your Breeders' Cup Sprint champion, Aloha West. So, yeah, I don't think that race is as simple as just Jackie's Warrior, but I'm going to sit on the fence with the risk of getting some splinters in my butt and use a little bit of Jackie's Warrior in there.
Chris, we know that one of your many talents is calling races, and so if you could stand by for a moment, I want you to call the Pat de Mile for us. So as you prep, I'm just going to assume that you agree to that. I want to kick it
Well,
over
thank
to
you.
our
Yes,
friend Rachel Miller, who is back.
You'll have the nasal head cold version of me, so you're okay there, though. We'll go along.
We have no sympathy here. I am sorry, Chris. Yeah, grab a swig of water.
It's okay.
Let's kick it back over to Rachel with some more guests on the infield.
All right, well, I've got a Fedora crew with me here. As you can see, they all clearly coordinated their outfits together. Some people made a bit louder fashion statements.
Go
than
Lions.
others. All right, he's saying his piece. It's fun, it's fun. What are you guys here for?
We are here for a bachelor party. Day 3 of the bachelor party.
This is the bachelor right here.
The bachelor. So we've had a lot of fun this weekend.
Right off the bat, first thing I was told is that Steve Aoki threw a cake in his face last night. And there was a video for proof that I saw as well. So tell me about that.
A lot of cake, a lot of frosting. Literally, it's going to take days to get all the frosting out of everybody's like.
Our shoes are tie-dye.
Everybody's tie-dye.
Oh my God! You know, it's kind of a fashion statement, though. It matches the pastels and everything today.
Look at his shoes right there.
No, it totally fits in with the infield scene and everything, guys. So, who you got in the Derby later?
Honestly, I haven't looked at any of the horses.
You know, that's okay. Sometimes you just got to come for the party.
We're just here for the party, you know, the mint juleps.
What about anybody else? Anybody else have a horse in mind?
We couldn't tell you.
Messier. We got a Messier. You said that you bet a lot, so.
Let's go Lions.
Well, there you have it, people. There you have it. Back on over to you, Dan.
Rachel, you gotta send them into the TwinSpires Tent. We gotta educate these folks. You can't just show up and not be betting the Derby. That's some nonsense. Get in the TwinSpires Tent. Come on.
Really crazy. The Kentucky Derby is bachelor parties, and then Nashville is bachelorette parties. Like, these places need to be like right next to each other, and then everyone could just find each other and get married.
Exactly.
Like, I've never seen so many bachelorette parties in Nashville, and then I've never seen so many bachelor parties here. It's crazy.
Yep. There, let's see, we're gonna pull
a lot of poorly dressed men at bachelor parties. A lot of pastels that just should never happen on some size people. Yeah.
That could be a show in and of itself.
Yeah.
You criticizing bachelor
Yes.
party fashion. I'd watch that.
We need you to swap spots with Rachel and just tell them how it is.
Oh my gosh, I should just be mean to everyone. That'd be great.
Everyone loves mean Danielle.
Yeah,
Summer
that's
Rae's
it.
coming out, huh?
I feel like
Full
people
upheal.
would pay me to like degrade them. You know? I'm like, fine, not again.
We are at this moment taking a quick look at the odds here for the Pat Day Mile. Jack Christopher, not many out there seemingly with too many concerns here. 4 to 5 odds on Jack Christopher, your clear-cut favorite in this race. The horse that Chris mentioned a moment ago, one of the cutback horses here, Doppelganger, is 5 to 1. That is your second choice. A horse that I like a lot is Papa Cap. Chris, you're a big NHC guy. You know Scott Coles, who won the NHC a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was all over Secret Oath yesterday. He's all over Papa Cap today. I'm very interested in that horse.
Yeah, I've used Papa Cap quite a bit in the past, and he's been a really good horse for me to give it a price underneath some shorter price horses in exactas as well. I'm popping in some tries here right now as well. 5 with 1-9 with all, 5 with all with 1-9, and vice versa. So I can multitask just like you did before.
Chris, while we have you, I want to show you some of these live odds for the Kentucky Derby as well. Love to get your take on what you think about the odds we're currently seeing, and we've got them up on the right side of the screen. I'm not sure you can see them, so I'll kind of read them off. Mo Donegal's 8 to 1, so taking a little money off that.
I'm really surprised that he's taken as much money as he has from the rail. That's you either need to have speed or be a stone cold closer from the rail, but I'm surprised. I know Peter likes that horse quite a bit, and I'm sure he's probably a little bit disappointed that he's taking as much money as he is.
I mean, I like it in the sense that it might be a proxy for some information about how the horse is doing. But yeah, I was expecting him to be more like 12 or 15 to 1 with that potentially tricky rail draw. So that I won't be betting any more than what I've already bet, but it's not low enough to put me off the horse.
Epicenter is 5 to 1. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm kind of against Epicenter today. I think the draw down in there, I think Joel is going to have to send a little bit earlier. And I think there is going to be, unlike the previous years where we had contested paces, I think with Epicenter, with the horses coming in from Dubai, Zosos, Messier, Classic Causeway, like I see. That being said, how I see the race playing out, I'm against Epicenter today, and I'll be very happy if he does wind up the favorite.
We are taking a look at Epicenter right now on the screen. So, look, he is taking a lot of action. 5 to 1. Another one taking action, Smile Happy. We haven't spoken too much about this horse. 14 to 1.
That doesn't surprise me either. I heard that Mattress Mac was going to bet that horse because of Run Happy being the sire, and you're certainly not going to get the best price available on Smile Happy if you already didn't lock in some fixed odds.
All right, let's cut out of this real quick. Pate Mile about to go off. Chris, take it away.
All right. Hopefully, I'm going to be on the same feed as you here.
We won't react if we're ahead of you.
I pulled it up on Naira Bet, so we'll have to go from there and get a little last swig here.
And a reminder to the people, TwinSpires is the app to use today.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Here we go.
Oh wait, don't tell him he's behind us now. Oh, there he is.
I am behind you. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Go ahead.
I got to get back to my Major General was away good from the rail, and now Papa Cop comes on and through with Flavia Brett takes the lead. Involved a little bit earlier today than usual is the 3-horse Papa Cop, Jack Christopher. Top 2-year-old in the country last year in a good stalking position, sitting just off the pace. And after the good beginning, Major General settles in 3rd. It's a small gap back to 4th. And 5th place, where my Prankster is in on the rail. And the 2-horse Trademark. Decent clip for the opening half mile, 45-3. Papa Cop is still your leader, and Jack Christopher has no excuses from here today as the 3-5 favorite in the first race off the layoff. Papa Cop and Jack Christopher just moving up very, very easily. Major General still on the lead. My Prankster moving up into 3rd. And Jack Christopher is a huge danger here at the top of the threat. Papa Cop is really battling gamely here, lugging out just a little bit. But Jack Christopher has been given his cue, and he is gone. Papa Cop running huge. Can he hold off my Prankster for second? It's going to be very, very close. But there is no doubt about who your winner is here. Welcome back to the races, Jack Christopher.
Wow. Big effort.
Everyone is losing their minds here.
That was something else. The intel that Peter had about he is ready to roll first back. He was ready to roll first back. That was awesome.
Yes.
Papa Cap ran a nice race, though, I will say. He went pretty fast early, and he hung in there for a while. I didn't have my Prankster in my trifecta, so I cashed nothing there. But I loved Papa Cap, like Scott Coles, and the horse ran a great race. And I was hoping that we'd get a little rally on the outside from O'Captain, who ran a really nice race at 30 to 1, but just couldn't do any better than 4th. So,
hey, there is a bet called the Superfecta.
Yes, there is. I couldn't tell by seeing that photo again. Did Papa Cap hold on for a second, or did Mike Frank?
I think he just got pipped on the line, but it's dead tight. We'll leave it for the judge.
All right, as we wait for the official results, want to go back briefly to some of these odds on the Kentucky Derby horses. We mentioned Smile Happy right now, 14 to 1. Messier, I will say, is 7 to 1 right now, and then we may as well go to Taba because those horses kind of get mentioned together. 7 to 1, 5 to 1. Chris, your thoughts on those two?
And they have to be mentioned together, don't they? That's one of the big handicapping questions of the race. Like, how are you treating the Bob Baffert horses? Are they still Bob Baffert horses in your mind? And I think you have to treat them like that. Here's conspiracy theory time. And I know there are a lot of
I like this. Keep going.
there are, of course, we know there are discussions in this wonderful sport that we have. Go back to the Santa Anita Derby. The only way Taiba was going to get into the Derby was by winning the Santa Anita Derby. Messier was already there. Now, do we think that maybe Messier wasn't fully cranked and ready to go that day as Taiba ran on by to get Zidane back to the Derby after Medina Spirit last year, and now Messier is sitting on a big one, and that potentially is why he is taking some money here, and a lot of people are on this horse. Like, I don't know, but that thought has been out there. And the crazy thing now, too, with Taiba taking money, like, I haven't heard many good things at all about how this horse has been since the Santa Anita Derby. Like, I heard that the work in blinkers at Churchill really wasn't very good. He wound up on the vet list at Santa Anita with the one work. Like, I feel like
What's his line?
He's like 6-1 right now. He's taking money. He's been halved from his morning line.
So pretty strong. Where's that coming from?
So I'll probably have to defensively use him because I don't want to be done in by Baffert one more time. But at 5-1, that's like ridiculous money.
It's interesting. You know, we had Mike Smith on the show yesterday, and I thought maybe he was tipping his hand a little bit about strategy, Dan. I don't know what you thought, but I asked him the question, are you nervous at all about facing a 20-horse field when this horse has only faced 6 horses in each of his 2 previous races? And he sort of chuckled at that and said, well, he's not going to see any more than 6 horses this time around. So that tells me they're definitely going to be riding him aggressively, which only makes sense. And it even put the idea in my head, maybe they're thinking about going for the lead, which seems a little crazy. But I do think he's going to be ridden very positively. And, you know, to get back to the conspiracy theory, when a trainer has 2 horses, there's nothing against the rules to utilize what you might call team tactics. In other words, you're not going to have 2 horses from the same trainer in a speed duel. I think that either Taiba or Messier are fast enough to be right up there in the vanguard on the lead if they want. And obviously a decision is going to be made. Okay, you go forward, you look to stalk. And I was always thinking it was going to be Messier again on the lead with Taiba stalking. Now I'm wondering if it isn't going to be the other way around. We'll learn a lot more in a few hours.
Yeah. I have a theory myself. My theory is that, 2 things. One, I think Messier is on the lead. I know Mike said that yesterday. We've seen Johnny V go to the lead 2 consecutive years, cross the wire first both consecutive years with the fastest horse in the race, getting to the front and just going, and he stayed there. And I think if you would have liked these horses trained by Bob Baffert, you may as well like them trained by Tim Yakteen because they've come up through the same exact program, and this horse Taiba is a $1.7 million horse, and Messier has always been highly regarded. And so I think if you would have liked those horses with Baffert, you should like them now. I think Messier goes to the lead. I think there's a very good chance he wires. And then in terms of Taiba, I think there's definitely the possibility we look back on this and say, like, the numbers are just staring us in the face. This horse was clearly the best horse in the race. And yeah, we made a lot of this. How is he going to handle the noise and the post and the other horses? But he's just that elite, and he handled it because he's that much better than the rest of them. I think that's a possibility. I think, to me, he's one of 3 or 4 horses in this race that really have a legitimate shot of going on and kind of being the standout horse in this crop. And so I think both of those horses I'm very scared of. By the way, I should say Danielle and I are both on Charge It. On the record, Charge It is both of our picks. And so, we will see what happens there. I'm getting the cue from our guys here, by the way, our great production team here, that we should go back to show you a little bit more of the scene here around Churchill Downs, because it is really stylish and fashionable.
Really getting out.
Yeah,
Look
Danielle doesn't like that.
I'm not mad at something being very loud. That's all right.
Not a big fan.
I want to know how that guy is keeping his hat on. How are these men keeping the hat on these windy Saturday here?
So windy. And there's the view from
yeah,
above here.
It's really starting to get crowded in the infield here.
There it is. We also have Rachel Miller standing by with a couple of more guests. Rachel, who are you with now?
All right, so back here, reporting from the infield, and I've got some gals with us, finally.
Yes,
so tell me about it. How's the day going?
So far, so good. The weather could be a little bit better, but we're making it work.
You know, it seems like you guys are drinking some drinks and that liquid jacket that you're putting on.
Yeah, just the more you drink, the warmer you get. Let's go.
It hasn't hit in yet, but the energy is electric here at the Derby. We're having a great time with everybody here. Great vibes, great time with everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it is a fun party. So this is my first Derby. Same for you guys.
Same.
Is there anything that has surprised you?
A lot of men.
Yeah, more
lot
men
of
than
men.
I was looking for the
A lot of
ladies
men. And I'm
dressed
not
up.
complaining.
Well, we're not complaining.
Yeah,
Unexpected though.
Yeah, so the last two groups of people that I interviewed here for bachelor parties. And so they're out in full force. But love it, love the hats and everything, the fascinators, sending it for the Derby. Of course. And they're not blowing away either.
No, yeah, barely. Just a couple extra bobbies,
Just a little something extra. But thanks for chatting to us. Enjoy the rest of today. And you got any big picks for the Derby or more here for the
Cyberknife and
That's what I
Taiba,
go for.
baby.
Love it.
Big money. What's your money?
Thanks, guys. Well, the scene at the infield, I've said it a couple times and I'll say it a couple more. It is fun. The scene is wild and crazy. You never know who's going to pass through and start chatting with us. If you all saw a bird tried to make a little cameo appearance earlier as well, this is the place to be. So we're locked and loaded. Dan, back over to you guys.
Thank you, Rachel. Those ladies put those dudes to shame. They were ready with Cyberknife. They
They have a very good point that I hadn't thought about because I'm so cold, is that if anyone is watching this and is a single female, this is where you find maybe not your husband, but you're finding someone. I would say the ratio is 4 to 1. 4 men to 1 woman, would you say?
Feels about right, yeah.
Or if there's women here, they're kind of coupled off, like they're with their man. And other tracks are not like that. Like Saratoga is super fun and it's very evenly split. But so many guys, everyone's like 12 years old. Like everyone's very young. Too young for me. But there should be like The Bachelor, but it should be like Kentucky Derby edition. We could do that for America's Best Racing.
Oh my God, Chris! Now I know you definitely have FOMO. I know you've been missing out, but now especially.
Exactly. See, I was highly offended there by your producers saying that you wanted to go to the infield for some fashion. Like I don't know what's not fashionable about the long sleeve red T-shirt that I'm wearing. I mean, I got my Derby hat on as well. Sheesh. But it's funny. What those ladies were thinking with Cyberknife, I like the way that they think because you were talking about the two backward horses maybe being a little bit of an uncoupled entry type deal. I feel that way about Zozos and Cyberknife. Like I think Zozos is in the race to guarantee that none of those horses up front get away with a very easy lead. I think Zozos is a sprinter. He ran really well in the first stakes race in the Louisiana Derby, and I think he's got a huge future as a sprinter. But in this race, I think he's kind of a rabbit for Cyberknife to make sure that there's a legitimate pace for him and for Ren Carruthers to close into. So I think when these trainers have multiple horses in here, I think you're right. I think there is a little bit of okay, we're going to use one to maybe help set up the other.
Yeah, I'm a little scared of Cyberknife myself, and that's a great point there, just in terms of trying to project the pace, how the race unfolds a little bit. Chris the Bear Felica being very generous with his time on this Kentucky Derby Day 2022. Chris, before we let you go, just give us a top 3. How you betting this race?
Yeah, I'm going to play a 6-horse exacta box as my main base bet. I'm going to use Messier. I'm going to use Cyberknife. I'm going to use Zandon. I'm going to use Tis the Bomb. I'm going to use Whiter Barrio, and I'm going to use Simplification. So $30 for $1. And then Zandon is my top pick. I love the fact that he's drifted up from the morning line. I love the fact he's not getting any tourist plays. And if I can get about a $15 winner with this. So I love this bluegrass. He's proven he can weave through traffic. I think there's going to be a legitimate pace. I like Zandon here.
Chris Felica, thank you again for your time. Good luck today. Feel better, my man.
Thank you. Take care. Have a great day, everybody.
Chris the Bear Felica. What an awesome guy. Just spending the time with us there.
So nice.
Lots of
Where
insights.
does he live? What's his deal? Who is
Like,
he?
what's his actual address?
No, like where in the nation is he?
I don't know where
Probably
he lives. I should
Connecticut.
know. Yeah,
Like
probably
New York.
in the
I
Northeast.
just heard, I
He's
heard
in the
like
Northeast.
a vibe. Like
Yeah,
it was
there's
like
a-
New York.
I mean, how great is that he's, sweating the tennis on one TV and he's got the racing on the other, and no doubt, reading up on his beloved college
sure
football
he's
at the
got-
same
yeah.
time. It's just, that's
And
a
that-
real sportsman.
And that wasn't just for comedy. He was like, give me a second. I'm watching Djokovic, Alcaraz. Ridiculous match. He was texting me this before we brought him onto the show,
Yeah.
so that just wasn't like
He's
for...
a betting man, that one.
100%.
He's a grinder.
The horse that he mentioned and we talked about a couple of times is Zandon. I
Yeah.
want to take a look back at
Let's dive in there.
Zandon's most recent race. Let's take a look at Zandon in the Bluegrass Stakes.
Smile Happy now takes aim from the outside. Here's Smile Happy to take the lead from Emmanuel into the final furlong, and Zandon is running late. Zandon has moved through all kinds of traffic from the back of the pack, and he is now taking command in deep stretch. It's over. Zandon wins the Toyota Bluegrass with a dramatic stretch run for Flavian Pratt. Smile Happy had to settle for second, 1 minute 50.35 seconds.
So that was Zandon finishing first in the Bluegrass Stakes. Smile Happy, who we talked about finishing second to him there. Danielle's thumb is frozen. Are you going to make
I
it?
thought you were telling me to smile. Smile happy. I was like,
Smile Happy, Danielle.
guys, my finger's frozen. No big deal. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Xander?
I think he's a legitimate horse.
Yeah.
I think there's plenty of reason to bet him, and there's plenty of reason why he's taking money. I'm not as in love with him, though. I just can't explain it. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I don't think he is the standout horse that sort of, again, it was the morning line favorite, so again, psychological, I'm taking my mind. Now he's 8-1, so now does he represent some value,
Yeah.
potentially? But I've been on Charge It. I think, look, I'm going to go for the, based on pedigree, based on the way he ran into trip trouble, not even he caused his own trouble, really, with just kind of just being green.
Yeah.
I think there's more to like about Charge It. There's more upside there.
I mean,
Charge
that's
It.
the thing about this race is that it's anyone, and that's really the people can change the vote. The people can change the line.
That's it.
So
That's it.
it's hard. I remember the first Derby that I watched, just seeing how many horses were there. I mean, it's wild, and just seeing them come out of the gate, it looks so much more dangerous that they can just like injure themselves and hurt each other and like slip up on each other. So it's just so exhilarating. I almost am scared to bet anything here because everyone's just a solid pick.
You got to bet, and you got to bet on
I
TwinSpires.
It's the only time of their lives that they'll face a field of this size, and it's a testament to their athleticism and the skill of the jockeys that the races are run as cleanly as they are. You will see a little bit of what they'd call argy-bargy sometimes into the first turn, everybody trying to get position, but it's a long enough run that no matter what gate you're in, I mean, obviously you'd rather not be all the way outside, you'd rather not be all the way inside, but it is a fair shake, and we've seen them come from everywhere, and that's part of the fun of the game, is trying to separate these contenders. And in the end, one of the things we use to do that is, of course, the odds on the tote board. And getting back to Zandon for a second, where this convo began, I actually think just looking at those odds objectively right now, I feel pretty confident that Zandon's the best value on the board. Obviously, I like him a bit more than you do, Dan, but I just think he's shown a real toughness in his races, and he's also shown another attribute that comes in handy in a 20-horse field, and we just saw it on the tape there. He's got that ability, that quickness to be able to hit the holes when they appear, and if it does get a little rough, it just seems like any kind of contact with another horse just engages him. If he were a baseball player, you'd say he'd run through a wall.
Yeah.
Interesting analogy.
It is, and it's a key, because if you're going to win this race, you're going to have to overcome some degree of adversity. And it might be that you're coming from off the pace and you're trying to weave through horses, and you may have to check, you may have to take up, you may have to come around horses. If you're running up front, you might have to fend off another horse who's pressing you. If you're going to win this race, you're going to have to overcome something. And, with many of these horses having not run that many races to date, you can't say that all of them have done that. Some of them have gotten optimal sort of setups to win their races. Zandon is one who did, as we saw in the Bluegrass, overcome a bit of adversity. And so, look, I think I'm going to play some tickets with him. I'm going to go on TwinSpires here momentarily. I'm going to put some more bets in because now I'm scared again. I mean, I put my initial bets in, which again, all revolve around Charge It. Charge It being my primary horse.
Should we do box? Should we box something?
And Pete, I heard you say this. Not always is boxing a great idea. In the Kentucky Derby, Chris Felica is one of the best bettors I know, said he's boxing 6 horses, which is something that's bonkers. In 99.9% of races, but in this race, you can get away with it.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe we should throw something in.
Let's do it. We all combine our picks. What do we do? The top 2
let's
picks
put
of
some
each.
stuff together. A group ticket is one of the fun things about racing. You know, it's a funny gambling game in horse racing because, of course, we are betting amongst ourselves. Yeah. It's not us against the house. But again, there's so much money. Big day like this, it affords you a wide berth too in terms of strategies. You made a great point, Dan. No other day of the year would I think that boxing 6 horses in an exacta made sense. Maybe a day like the Breeders' Cup in a 14-horse field where you didn't like favorites, but there's so much money being bet that you can take a little bit more of that I don't know what the right word is, sort of a blunt approach to it and still end up getting absolutely great results.
Or like a generalized approach, yeah.
And if you're right, you're going to get paid. It doesn't matter if it's the first choice over the second choice when those horses are still in the 5-to-1 range. But you said something else really interesting, Dan, before about looking at like how the morning line can influence the way you think about the race. We have these expectations as horse players as to what the prices are going to be. Mo Donegal's my top pick. He's staying my top pick. But Mo Donegal was my top pick under the assumption that Zandon was going to be bet, I don't know, to half the price of what Mo Donegal was. With Mo Donegal taking a little bit of unexpected action and Zandon taking less action, I'm pretty confident saying right now anyway that, if you were coming down right now and making your first bet, Zandon's actually better value than my top pick. So you've got to be nimble as a horse player. Obviously we have our picks, we want to be right. Half the fun after a race is to say, I was right, you were wrong.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we want to make money, you've also got to be able to be nimble and react to the market as it changes. And I think that's what's happening here at the Derby today.
Yeah.
Also, too, I always like to ask my mom or someone that knows nothing about it, and I just go, just pick one.
Yes.
And then I'll just put that on there, and I'm like, oh, it always ends up being the one that wins. Or when I first started, I was getting everyone right. Like every live stream I did, I was naming all the winners. And everyone
Beginner's luck was in play.
They're like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. That has a cute name. And I would just pick it, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, Danielle.
There are plenty of days where you can, do all the work, study the form for hours, and then you'd be better off just picking the one with the longest tail.
Yeah.
But in the long run, I do believe, while I agree with the spiritual truth of what you're saying, I do believe in the long run, it's kind of its own reward to do the work. It's actually really fun puzzle solving.
It's a puzzle.
Some people
It's
do
always a puzzle.
crosswords, some people do Sudoku, they're playing Wordle, you're doing whatever. For me, there's no better intellectual challenge than going through that racing form and trying to pick a winner.
That's true. What, in the main race, who's the trainer with the most horses?
That would be Brad Cox with 3.
Yes.
And Brad Cox is trying to do something that has never been done in the history of horse racing.
What is that?
So, he ultimately trained the winner of last year's Kentucky Derby, Mandaloon, after the DQ of Medina Spirit. But that decision didn't come down until 2022. So that makes him eligible to be the first trainer to ever win the Kentucky Derby twice in 1 year.
That would be an extremely, I mean, that would be a trivia for the rest of time.
Interesting. Brad Cox.
That Kentucky Derby, by the way, can be seen on NBC. People will always drop in the comments, can we watch the Derby here live? Due to streaming rights and the way these things work contractually, we cannot actually show you the race, but you can watch it on NBC at 6:57 p.m. In fact, NBC's coverage begins at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, so in about 10 minutes. If you want to watch it on your TV, if you're on your cell phone, you're streaming us on your computer, whatever it might be, keep us up, and you can continue coverage on NBC, the NBC Sports app, and on Peacock. So, but we'll be here. We're carrying you straight through until 4 o'clock, which is bad news for you because you are shivering.
I am. It's okay. I'm gonna I'm gonna go try to find coffee here while I use the bathroom.
You know what? We have an opportunity for you to swap out. So go ahead.
Oh, okay.
She will come in, tag
Great.
her in.
Oh my gosh.
And
Fabulous.
she's expecting to come
Okay,
in,
great.
and you go and
Just
warm
do
up a little bit.
Swap.
All right, Danielle will be
Guys,
back
if I can
momentarily.
find warm coffee, do you want some?
I'd take black coffee.
Bring anything.
Yeah. It's a well-known thing that the mint julep is the drink of the Kentucky Derby. This year it should be the hot toddy.
I was going to say, ideally an alcoholic hot beverage.
If you want to pour some whiskey in the coffee, I wouldn't say no.
Well, we'll take it. You're good right
Okay,
there. We're taking a look now at some of the folks hanging out in the infield here at Churchill Downs. It is getting close to that time. We're now about 5.5 hours away from post time for the Kentucky Derby. The infield filling up as expected here at Churchill Downs. Coverage, as I mentioned a moment ago, on NBC, the NBC Sports app, and on Peacock. And as the day goes on, we're very interested in everyone's opinion in who they like in the Kentucky Derby. And our next guest, I'm interested in more than just her Derby selection, because she has her hands in absolutely everything going on in horse racing. And it's Anise Montplaisir, which I know with confidence I actually pronounced correctly probably for the first time in my life.
Well done, Dan. That was good. Well done. It is a tough one, but yeah.
Well, Anise, I've learned how to pronounce your name because you're everywhere. She's, of course, the co-host of La Trifecta on America's Best Racing, which is, in my opinion, I believe, I think, I'm not positive, the best and highest rated Spanish-speaking streaming live show in the world of horse racing, I should say. But you also do stuff, you are the founder of Amplify Racing and the Kentucky Equine Project?
Kentucky Equine Education Project Foundation.
Okay.
So there's a few things. They all kind of, complement each other in various ways. And I'm very proud to be part of La Trifecta. We have an amazing team with Claudia Spadaro and Darwin Vizcaya. Darwin is here at the Derby and doing an amazing job with the content that he is doing. And then I feel like the educational work that I do at the Keep Foundation and Amplify Horse Racing really probably complements my work with La Trifecta.
I love the Amplify content plan. Explain to people what makes what you're doing so different than, all the other podcasts that are out there.
Yeah, so Amplify Horse Racing is a 501c3 nonprofit whose mission is dedicated to amplifying education and careers in the thoroughbred industry to youth and young adults. So a lot of what we do is really centered around developing a first step for young people who want to get involved in the industry, and then amplifying existing initiatives that are out there or providing steps that can help people get involved, whether that's through our mentorship program or learning through our podcast or our virtual content. This weekend we're out here. I actually have our wonderful intern Cassandra who's helping me and is doing an excellent job. And she lends an amazing perspective because she's very new to the industry. So she can point out to me like, hey, what is that? I don't understand that. Let's get a video of this and let's explain it to people out there. So our goal is that anybody who's watching our Instagram and going through our feed can go through and learn a little bit more about what is going on that you might not entirely understand from pulling it up on TV.
I think it's great because it can really be an on-ramp to the industry. Half a dozen times a year, I get people asking, how can I get involved in X, Y, or Z in the horse racing business? And now it's great because I have a place, I'll brainstorm and give them my thoughts, but it's great to have a place to send them whose mission is to put that sort of content forth. I mean, horse racing has a reputation as a business that, certainly on like the horsemanship side, a lot of people are born into. And it's great to be able to give people coming completely from the outside a little bit of a perspective about what we're all about. What advice do you have to somebody who might say, hey, I'm interested, I want to get more involved? What's like step one?
I would say that a big thing, it was actually really interesting. I was out on the backside every morning this week getting content and interviewing young professionals who are in the industry. And I'd say that two things really stand out. And one is to not be afraid to reach out to people, whether that is sending a DM on Twitter or Instagram. It sounds weird to encourage people to slide on into those DMs, but sometimes that's a great way. And then that can help to connect you to my next point, which is a mentor in the industry. I think that mentors have helped all of us in many ways of, whether it's educating you or opening some door in some way or providing a really important and valuable introduction. So those are my two things. Reach out to people, don't be afraid, and then find yourself a really good mentor who's going to help usher you along.
A spectacular question and an even better response. I will say, Anise, I've known you for what now, like 6 or 7 years probably. I don't want to sound like an old man and be like, I'm so proud to see how you, but I've seen you come up, Saratoga Special, you were writing, you were hustling in Saratoga, you are just an ultimate success story of someone who didn't really have any direct connection to horse racing, and you were like, you know what, I'm going to do this damn thing, and you did it.
No, that is true. I started at a little track, the North Dakota Horse Park, and my first little job was asking people if I could sweep their shed rows. And then I started ponying because they let anybody pony. They're like, if you want to pony, we'll give you a license and you can pony whether you know what you're doing or not. Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
And then you just, got it. I was introduced to the media stuff, and that was an amazing way of, when you're working in media, how many times do you have to just go up and say, hi, I'm Anise Pleasure, or hi, I'm so-and-so, and introduce yourself to multiple people. And so I would recommend any young person, regardless of what aspect of the industry they want to be involved in, to work in media at some point, because it builds your confidence and you meet so many people.
Saratoga Special, we have that in common. That was my first job in racing as well.
I didn't even know that.
In their
awesome. I didn't know that either.
Initial year, way back in 2001, I guess it was.
Really?
Frank Scattoni and I did the handicapping for Sean and Joe. I'd known Sean for a number of years, and I know he's very proud of all the people who've come through there. Travis Stone, who's calling the races here today, early on Saratoga Special. John Panagot, jockey agent, racing manager, came through there. Brian Natto, who's done tons of work.
Gabby Gaudet, my
exactly, Gabby. There's too many tonight. I shouldn't have started because I can do the rest of the show on this. But it's cool to be. It's a cool club to be in, and I think it speaks to your exact advice for how to get involved.
I think that they actually set the gold standard for when it comes to mentorship, because it's not hand holding. You don't hold somebody's hand to get them involved. You just give them the tools. And then as a mentee, you have to have the work ethic to take the next step.
There's a test there. There's a built-in test.
Yeah, exactly. If you can if you've got the work ethic and you can put in the hours, they will help to guide you and introduce you to the right people and make sure that, you get on the right path.
I think it might be time to hold your feet to the fire for some handicapping opinions on this show. You pay attention to this stuff.
We're opening this program up for you right now.
Okay.
Well, I'll ask you. I mean, are you prepared with a selection for the Kentucky Derby, or is it more a race you're still thinking through your options, talking through your options on?
I honestly think that this Kentucky Derby is one of the hardest in recent years and the most difficult, I would say.
The tote board speaks to that. 5-1 the favorite right now.
I don't have a distinct horse that I'm like, this is my Kentucky Derby winner. I love watching Crown Pride out in the mornings with them doing dressage with them.
What a great story he is.
I think that's just having those training practices woven into your horses daily rather than just going around in circles to build their balance and build their strength, because just like us as humans, they have a core, they have back muscle, they have a core that they're working on, and all of that helps to balance the horse and create a better physical. Epicenter has looked incredible, but I think Zozos has also been looking very good in the morning. So those are just a couple that I'll throw out there.
I love that. You make such a good point. And Crown Pride, what a story for those that don't know. This Japanese trained horse who won the UAE Derby, a real world traveler. And the Japanese have had this unbelievable run of success around the world, winning 2 races at the Breeders' Cup, winning on Dubai World Cup night, dominating in the Saudi Cup. But I don't think I'm going out on a limb by saying if they were to pull this trick, come in here and plunder the Kentucky Derby, that would be the most impressive feat at all.
Yes.
Do you think Crown Pride's capable of getting that done?
I think that it could happen. I mean, the thing is when you have a 20-horse field, really anything can happen. And especially when you have this many people and this much noise, a horse that might not be affected by it on any other day certainly could be today. And just talking to what some of the jockeys who've ridden the Kentucky Derby have said about the wall of sound as you come around the far turn, you just, you never know what can happen. So it would be amazing to see, but you got to run the race.
Anise, thank you so much for taking time out to speak with us. We're going to toss it to Rachel with some more antics from the infield.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Earpiece out because I cannot handle the echo of my own voice ringing in my ears. But I grabbed some friends here, and we are going to play the game Catch the Cap. So how this works, I'm going to read you off 5 different horse names. 4 of them are real, and 1 of them is Cap. You guys can come to your own conclusions about these things. Wow. But let's go. Okay, first name. I want to go fast.
I don't think that's real.
No, hear the top.
We gotta go through all of them. All right. Second name. If you're not first, you're last.
Okay.
Glass Half Full, How to Cookie Crumbles, and Life in Shambles.
And 4 of these are actually...
4 of these are real, if you can believe it.
Wow, I can't. Cannot believe.
I'm gonna go with How to Cookie Crumbles is fake.
It does look fake because the font is a little different here. But I'll double down.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No, stick with your gut. You went the first one you didn't like.
You're right. What was the first one's name?
The first one, I want to go fast.
Yeah, it's wrong.
All right, well, one of you is correct in catching the fake name.
Okay.
And that would be you.
Yes. Don't you at it.
How to Cookie Crumbles.
Yes.
But
I wanted to double down.
But yeah, I want to go fast. Do you know what movie that's in reference to?
Talladega Nights.
Cool Hand Luke.
You got it. So horse names have some fun names to reference. I don't know if that's how you guys are planning on picking your Derby horse or not, or if there's
Very
any.
random. Completely name-based. Yes, that's right.
So then who's it going to be? Who's got the best name?
Doppelganger is the one I remember.
Doppelganger?
I don't know.
Is that who we picked for everything, basically?
I think so.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the last one, I don't know. I forget that. Yeah.
Sorry,
we'll go Doppelganger.
Masari and Doppelganger for basically every race.
Yes.
All right. There you got it, folks. Well, congrats on guessing right. Enjoy the rest of your infield party. In case you didn't see, this gentleman has some very fancy hands.
That's correct.
Just playing the part for the Derby. But enjoy, you guys. Thanks so much for hanging with us. And back to you, Dan.
Spectacular job, Rachel. Love the little game you came prepared with. That's what it's all about here, having some fun on Kentucky Derby Day 2022. This is Kentucky Derby Live, presented by TwinSpires.com. Use that promo code on the bottom of your screen if you like free money, $200 in free money when you use promo code BET200. Sign up for an account today. You will also get your win money back when your horse is finished second or third, up to $10 on your win bets for the rest of the day here at Churchill Downs. You're getting a look around here, the track at Churchill Downs as we approach the big one. Only now 4 hours and change from the Kentucky Derby, and Rachel is someone who's behind the scenes at America's Best Racing. You're behind the scenes at America's Best Racing for many years now. The guy standing next to me, Patrick Reed, sitting next to me. Patrick, for those who love the America's Best Racing cheat sheet, and hundreds, if not thousands at this point, of other pieces on America's Best Racing, Patrick, you do it all. Exciting to have you with us here on a live show.
Great to be here, Dan. Thanks for inviting me.
So I know you handicap more than anybody, and you prepared for this race more than anybody. How are you looking at this Derby as we inch closer to it?
Well, what I'm trying to do is basically bet according to the way the race has been run in the past few years. And that being said, Epicenter will probably be my key horse in trifecta bets. I think he'll be forwardly placed. And the post position's a little challenging. But speed horses or horses that have been close to the lead have been doing quite well in the past several derbies.
First past the post 3 years in a row has been gate to wire. Do you think those, you say forwardly placed, but from that inside draw, don't they almost have to send?
He does. And he's got, I believe, the horse from Dubai's right next to him. That's a speed horse. It's going to be difficult. I'm expecting, obviously, Classic Causeway to go early, and I'm also expecting Messier to go early. And I was just talking to somebody back in the press room. I wonder if they're going to let John Velasquez, quote unquote, walk the dog again, like
One more
he did
time
for 2 derbies in a row. And
that's sort of my theory. I said it a moment ago. I think it could very well happen. We're going to be sitting here thinking like, oh my God, did we get played again?
That might happen, and that's my concern. But like I said, I think Epicenter, and he's also the most developed, mature horse at this point. Obviously, there's some other ones that have a lot of potential. I'm thinking of Charge It. I see Charge It coming back in the Belmont, no matter what he does today.
So you don't love him here?
I might use him underneath because I'm looking for some horses with odds. So I don't like him to win, but maybe to hit the board.
Yeah. How does it feel to be on this side of things?
It feels great. I mean, I'm just glad to be here, and I'm glad that the Derby is back to full capacity. I hope it stays that way. Knock on wood. And I'm glad we're all doing well.
We have talked about a number of different things, and I know, like in the research that you do, not only do you have to watch a lot of replays and you have to analyze past races, but you're also, very aware of some of the international horses that will come in for Breeders' Cup and now for this race. What do you think about Summers tomorrow and Crown Pride?
I'm going to take a stand against them.
Both of them.
Some of the other people that I work with are not. And
you can name names.
Well, some of my colleagues. I'm not going to name names. But I'm going to take a stand against them just because I have to take a stand against somebody. Obviously, the Japanese horse Crown Pride is getting a lot of support this year. A lot of people are picking him. I'm going to be a contrarian in that regard, just because no horse from Dubai's ever hit the board, and I'm a trifecta player in the Derby.
I'm going to try to pull up some live odds here so that we can take a look at some of the Derby. This may take a moment here because we're doing a little screen sharing on the fly here, so give me a moment. I just want your reaction if anything stands out to you here.
I'll take the second that we have, Dan, to just put in a plug for some of that behind-the-scenes work that you're doing, and something that is a trick that shouldn't be missed on the America's Best Racing website. Some of the race preview material is so well put together and so much information that I know there are media professionals out there who use the stuff on the ABR site as part of the stuff to help them in just getting their thoughts organized and doing the handicapping. And it's a great job to you for putting all that stuff together.
I appreciate that. We have a really great team here in all departments.
And we should shout out Mike Curry. Who basically doesn't sleep for this 5-week stretch.
Mike is the editor-in-chief of ABR. He's been with the website since it started, which was right around 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so he is the original brains behind the entire website. And he's working today, and I'm taking a step back. I'll be working Preakness and Belmont, and we'll do all the preparation for those races just as well.
Well, surely we put you to work. There was no work days. We put you to work here, so there's no off days. And John Piasek, another newer member of our team, who's been doing incredible work.
John Piasek has done a weekly gambling blog, and he has had a profit in all 3 of his budget levels so far this year. He's doing a great job. Yeah,
he is very plugged in, sharp guy who's helped do some consulting for me as well. Yep. Big fan of his and yours and all the work going on. Let's look at these odds, though, Dan. We have a major question that is yet to be answered at this point, and that's who is going to be the favorite in this year's Kentucky Derby. When we ran through these before, Epicenter and Taba were both 5-1. This isn't telling us, we're not looking at the pool, so I don't know who the actual betting favorite is now. But I do think there is some world in which Taba, with those 2 big speed figures and just amazing resume through 2 races, there's a world in which this horse goes off the favorite.
Yeah, in terms of Taba, I'm kind of waffling. I didn't think the California group was as strong as usual this year. On the other hand, the horse is incredibly talented. And if he gets a clean trip, I can see him being a factor in the top 3 at least. So I probably will use him.
So Taba there, 5-1 right now. Epicenter at 5-1. Those are your approximate co-favorites. One of them will obviously be a clear-cut favorite, especially when that Mattress Mac money comes in. What do you think about Mattress Mac?
Well, he just had a press conference, but I walked in right as it ended. I didn't hear what he had to say.
Was he going to announce who he was betting? Is that what that was about?
I think he did, and I didn't hear it. So we might have to check social media and find out.
With the amount of money he's betting, I mean, he could probably bet, I don't know, Smile Happy at this point, and it would probably knock him down, probably not to favoritism. You know these pools better than I do, but it would knock him down probably, what, to about 10 to 1?
14 to 1 to 10 to 1 maybe. I think, if he were to bet either of the favorites, I think 5 to 1's going to go 4 to 1. That kind of thing. It is really funny. I think it's close enough that he is going to determine the favorite in the race, which is kind of funny. Yeah. And it's not an easy thing to do in a $45 million pool.
So if you're him, you're sitting there, and you've already committed to betting one of the favorites, Epicenter now or Taba look like your choices. Who are we going with?
Oh, I would Epicenter, yes.
Epicenter?
Yes.
I mean, if I were guessing what Mattress Mac was going to do, it felt like the horses that were on his short list were Epicenter and Zandon. It feels like he would maybe go with Epicenter. And I mean, I just think Epicenter has the most sort of classic resume to be a Derby favorite. And so I imagine that's where that money will show up. But we're speculating about something that's probably known. A quick scour of Twitter will hopefully get us the answer.
Yep. Yeah. We can check that out in just a moment. So I see Naomi's there. Do you think we could pull her in?
Yeah, why not? Let's put her to work.
You may stay here for another minute. You want to stay for one more minute?
I'll get out of the way. I appreciate it.
He's like, get me out of here. He's like, I got stuff to write. I got stuff to do. Get me out of here.
The only thing I'll say is, and this is not an absolute lock, but I like the 8-horse in the Old Forester, the race before Adamo. There's the bet I'm giving out today.
I like that one too. The longest price probably of the three Chad Brown horses, but one who was just so impressive last time with that very difficult beginning and difficult trip and managed to get the job done. You look lovely.
Thank you so much, Patrick.
Come sit with us for a minute.
Good luck the rest of the day.
Cheers, Patrick. Don't hurt yourself.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Oh my God, I am so impressed. Hi.
Tag in.
Unexpected here, but
I missed the memo about wearing the red.
I missed the memo about being on the show, but I'm happily joining. Why
We're
not?
just making that happen on the fly.
We're winging it.
I brought the form.
You got the form. Oh,
Yeah,
that's good. So you can,
course.
and you got this program if you want it, but this is probably not going to
perfect.
help you as much.
Perfect. I want to know what the latest odds are on the Derby. We've been walking around.
We got them up right now. Here.
Perfect. Because I heard Taba is taking a lot of money.
Yeah, but they're the co-favorites right now, 5-1, Epicenter and Taba. I'm not that surprised. I mean, people love undefeated horses, people love triple-digit speed figures. Taba is filthy with both of those things, and I think the general public, isn't necessarily that concerned with the things that are concerning some of us about his chances.
Some of us hardcore handicappers going, he doesn't have the experience to go elbowing with all these runners when the gates open, right? That's what we're worried about?
That's the fear, but I will say this, after talking to Mike Smith on these airwaves yesterday, and he tipped the hand that he's going to be very, very forward. Well, he didn't say he's going to the lead. You could almost read that between the lines, but if he breaks and he's up there in the vanguard, Churchill is a very interesting track. A lot of racetracks, when you're going two turns, around two turns in a race of this distance, it's a very difficult thing to be 3 or 4 wide.
Yep.
Churchill Downs, historically, you can make that move. We've seen that move over the last couple of days on this track. I think that's a trip Taba could get. I mean, look, he's not my key, but I think he could be a handful, and he's a horse in my exotics I want to keep on side, though I don't trust him. I mean, I feel like he's the kind of horse I think he's going to win, or he's going to, be mid-pack.
Well, he's the most untapped potential in the entire race.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you look at what he's done his 2 starts today, it looks like there's so much more to come from this youngster. Now, looking at the pace setup, though, you were saying that Mike was kind of showing his hand. We were discussing this the other day, weren't we, that summer is tomorrow, perhaps they're going to move forward. He seems like the light lead pace horse in here.
I think that's your early pace setter.
But then, wasn't the question mark that we were discussing with Classic Causeway what they're going to do with him? And I was saying Julian Leperoux is a bit more of a patient rider than Irad Ortiz Jr. is.
And from that post, too.
This horse has burnt up speed in the past.
Yeah.
Is it in his best interest to go that hard, that fast up front? I wouldn't say so.
I don't think he's fast enough from the 17 post to get there. And B, to your point, doesn't have. It's not Paco Lopez up, so not this time. No pun there either. Not this time with that one. I don't see it happening. Again, if he takes, we're going to see a completely new dimension from this horse. He's going to take off 10 lengths and close late. I have a hard time. He had it was a Java's War he had like a couple of years ago, who he kind of rallied with late, finished like a nice 6th or 7th with. I think that's the best case scenario with Classic Causeway. Takes back, and then Julian makes the patent.
I don't see him finishing any closer.
Really?
Than
You
that
have him in the
either,
bottom half at a minimum.
I'm afraid. I mean, with the 20-horse field, at some point you have to.
Yeah, there's got to be
some
some they got to finish
down.
back there.
I'm going to say Classic Causeway is not in my top. But when we're talking about other pacemakers in here, how about Johnny Velasquez on Messier, who has in the past shown that as a rider, he likes to take control of a race like the Kentucky Derby, do so with success. Why wouldn't he try similar tactics with a horse that has a very similar past performance reading as Medina Spirit looks coming in a way? Wouldn't you think?
The more we talk about the race, the thing that I'm becoming convinced of, I can't tell you who's going to be on the lead, but I think there's going to be loads of pace in here, and it just brings me right back to where I started. I think it's going to set up really nice for Zandon and Modonegal.
I knew you were going to say either. I was waiting
You've
for
heard my act.
Modonegal.
You've heard my act
I was waiting
before.
for Modonegal to come up, okay? I've heard you before. Look, I feel Modonegal's a little bit of the wise guy horse this year.
I mean,
he's taking money.
I mean, I've been sitting next to him all day, so he's not a wise guy horse anymore. He's the only horse. Look, if the horse could work out a trip, there's no reason he doesn't win or at a minimum hit the board. I mean, I'd be shocked if he didn't finish in the top 5 with any sort of trip. So
just got to keep from getting too sawed off down there. Hey, I wanted to ask you, how excited were you yesterday? You had just had Dwayne Lucas on the podcast, and then to see that story with the 86-year-old Lucas, who I know you've had on many times. I know you always enjoy talking to, and he gets the job done, winning a historic, 5th Kentucky Oaks?
5th record-tying Kentucky Oaks. 5th record-tying. This is incredible. So for me to have spoken with such an icon of a sport, such an affable man that takes the time to talk to everyone, has a good story or two up his sleeve, and then to see him win with a filly like Secret Oath, who of course they tried to win the Arkansas Derby with her. I straight away went, oh, is she the type like winning colors that you want to put against the boys? He goes, no, we just wanted to win $1 million race. So he's quite honest that way, right? He will tell you exactly what he thought.
Do you think we'll see her in 2 weeks' time in the Preakness at your home track?
I really hope so. Oh, I would be so excited. He's Hi, how are you doing? He's indicating he wants to go.
Yeah, let's bring Danielle back in.
I love the Preakness. It's one of my favorite races.
And how about that storyline? If like a couple of years ago with Swiss Skydiver, we can get a filly racing against the boys. I would think that's a storyline you can get behind.
That would be amazing. We all love a good comeback story, especially on a hometown. Are you from Baltimore?
My track is Laurel Park and Pimlico. I'm from the Netherlands originally.
Nice. Oh, wow.
So yeah, not from the US, but that's where I work. So my first Preakness on air was authentic Swiss Skydiver throwdown in the Preakness. So,
oh my gosh, that would be amazing. I love the Preakness setup as well, like the infield and the music, and then the outfield is just nice. Derby feels so big.
Yeah.
I just ran to the bathroom and it took me 20 minutes.
Did you find? I'm guessing the answer is no, because I
no
don't see
coffee.
it. No coffee.
We were trying to find something like warm that we could like warm up.
It's quite chilly.
Oh my God, I'm dying. Yeah, my hands are blue. Look. No, I couldn't find any coffee. I did find one line, but the line was too long, and I said it's okay.
You don't need to deal with
it's
that.
okay.
I was going to say there's some coffee in the
I know,
grandstand
so
if you want to
far.
dive
I know.
underneath the
We'll
track.
come after.
That's where we
We'll
just
come
came
after.
from.
Yeah.
So no, this is actually my first time walking into the infield. This is my second Derby in person attending.
Oh yeah.
I was always on the other side, but this kind of crowd, this
it's
kind of
fun.
party.
Yeah,
I'm here
it's
for it.
nice. Like it creates a wind bowl. Like, don't you feel like it's so much windier here than the grandstand?
It is a little
Something's
bit. I wasn't
happening.
going to say it,
Yeah.
but yes, it's a bit chilly on the
Something's
side.
happening.
But look, the crowd makes
Yeah,
up
the
for
crowd's
it.
great.
Everyone, you can tell they're here to have
Yeah.
a good time. A
And
little bit,
it's-
like you said, Preakness being that party leg of the
Yeah,
Triple
yeah.
Crown. This has got a good vibe.
For sure, for sure. It's also different demographic, like the infield versus the grandstand. Like, it's a solid 10 years younger, if not 15. Yeah.
I feel old walking around here.
Yes, I know, but it's fun.
Don't get me started on this topic. Hey, we've got 0 minutes to post to the next race here, the Derby City Distaff. Dan had given his opinion before. He likes number 7, Edgeway. I think it's either going to be that one, who Dan likes. I think the 4, Kamari, an old class horse, very, very dangerous in here. And then the more I look at this race, and the more I look at just one time, the more interested I am in her. when we originally handicapped this race on the podcast, I was really focused on her last run when she came from very far back, and I was worried that there wouldn't necessarily be enough pace to set up a late run. But looking more closely at some of her previous form, she can sit handy, and if Kamari engages with Edgeway early, I think it could set up for just one time. I'm going to try to use all 3 of those to get some good action going, and they are off here for the Derby City Discount. Did you have an? I'm sorry I didn't throw it to you in time, but did you have an opinion?
Fine. No, I when I looked at this race, first thought, of course, was Kamari, but I found just one time very interesting. Like you said, flexible running style, if they aren't going, isn't a problem. And look, she's actually, by the looks of it, right now on the lead. Did we expect that?
No.
We did not.
Yeah, Edgeway was supposed to go to the lead. I don't see if she might have broken a step slowly. But I mean, that's a good position for just one time to be in.
I was also looking at the big screen here. You know, when you look to the side, you can see the big screen. I did not expect her.
Here comes Edgeway around.
Time from US, we love looking at pace angles. I didn't see her on the lead. So this is really interesting.
Oh, Edgeway on the outside. Edgeway on the outside right here.
Yeah, looks like those 2 are going to hook up here on the turn.
Flavian gave her a breather just now, 2 seconds ago. Did you see that? He took her back to say, hey, all right, go. Take some time. We got work to do.
She just cut the corner, and she's pouring it on here in the lane.
Nobody's going to get her now.
No,
I don't think
Flavian's
no.
gone.
That breather gave her this. That breather gave her a chance to throw her down. Come on, hold on.
Closers are coming.
No!
It's going to be dead tight here at the end.
Oh, she got caught.
Look at
That was the one?
Obligatory.
Oh, that was mandatory. Obligatory.
Obligatory.
Who loves it around here? One here last weekend. Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, the pace unexpectedly fast.
Well,
Jose, 22-second
first
quarter and just under 45 for the half. I thought the race was over too.
I thought she had it in the bag.
I think the early exertions proved too much, and Obligatory, who just loves Churchill Downs.
And we've been talking about the Ortiz brothers, how they just wait. They always wait to the last turn, and they really, if you forget that they're there, they'll sneak up on you. Where was he right here? Look, he was almost dead last.
Yeah.
Always.
Coming from last
this race just falls apart in the last furlong and a half and ends up
beautiful
very much
horse
unexpectedly
too.
Setting up for the closers, especially without Edgeway breaking. But that's the thing about racing. I mean, it'll make you crazy at times. You can spend an hour looking at a race trying to figure out every angle. And in none of the pace scenarios I came up with was this race going to be able to fall apart like that without the 7-runner Edgeway being up there early. But in the end, it comes 5
Look at
and
flying
then 8.
down the center of the lane there. And back-to-back wins for Jose Ortiz, who also won on Jack Christopher in the race before.
Yep.
So
riding with all kinds of confidence right now.
Yeah.
Clearly riding
So he
very
really
high.
is.
And how
what
about,
a beautiful
you don't want to sit
horse,
on a Hall of
too.
Fame trainer like
Yeah.
Bill Mott. So it's just kind of, at your own peril, right? Discounting any of his
He's having
runners.
one hell of a day.
Oh, yeah.
Jose.
Good.
Beautiful. What were the lines for 7-2? Yeah, 7-2.
Yes, that'll be a 7-2 winner over Ford Grace. A big long shot at 16-1, who looked like winning for just a second. Probably moved just a little bit too early into that fast pace, and a very game just one time, hanging on for third despite cutting out those early fractions. Looking home and hose down, but that's racing. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
I thought Flavian had it, didn't you, for
I
a bit?
feel bad for him.
Yeah,
because I don't think he did anything wrong
No,
there. He
yeah.
went to the front, took her back.
He gave him
I
a
thought it
little
was
break,
interesting.
which is usually what happens well, but
Gave her a chance to catch herself,
Yeah.
but that was... Did we have her on our ticket? Because I did not.
The more I looked at this race, I got away from the idea of Bell's the one and Obligatory being able to get involved, just because I didn't see it heating up like that. So it'll be back to the drawing board for me.
Interesting.
I remember Bell's the one being wasn't she one of the one of those wise guy horses as well a while ago? I'm trying to look back.
Oh, I mean,
When she
she's
went
so good and
in
so
the Breeders'
game.
Cup Filly sprint, when she went up against Gamine, there was a lot of people that would have liked. She was so good. She's still really good, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
that was
clearly
not a bad
still
run.
very, very good.
Yeah.
Perhaps not entirely at her top anymore, though. Am I right in saying that?
I mean, she's been at it a while, and you could argue with the pace that fast, she was supposed to be maybe a little bit closer than she was. I wasn't paying that close attention to the trip. Next time she'll be third race off the bench. Definitely
True.
give
I
her
think
another look.
that's-
That could be a factor
She can
as
be
well.
cycling back up again because she had kind of an upward cycle, went down a little bit, now coming back out of that out of that break. So perhaps I'm being too early saying, is she still there the way that we saw her not too long ago, actually. That was before the break in summer of 2021 that she was running some very, very strong races for sure.
So we got to hold your feet to the fire one more time. Has your opinion about this race, the Kentucky Derby, evolved at all? Where are you in terms of the winner right this second?
You know what they say, you pick, you stick. So I'm trying to not let anyone's opinion sway my mind, because everyone has an opinion. So I'm telling everyone else too, don't let anyone change your opinion. Good. I've been on board with Epicenter from the get-go because of his running style. Love the fact that trainer Steve Asmussen got the win on board yesterday with Pauline's Pearl as well to kind of break that. What was he, 0 for 70 or something in Kentucky, 0 for 74 to break that. Give him Epicenter, just his running style. Horses need to be flexible in where they're positioned in the race. Love what he did in the Louisiana Derby. Put behind them, took some dirt, got pulled out in the clear, rolled home. That's the kind of horse I love for a Kentucky Derby. So I'm going to stick with him, but I must admit the Jockey horses, Messier, Tabor, taking all the money, don't want to get beat by them.
Dan and I are very high on Charge It.
Oh.
We are. We love him after the Florida Derby. So.
Coming out of that tricky race, tons of upside, and something you'll surely appreciate, Naomi, like the best pedigree in the race, I would say.
Really
being
nice
by-tapping out of that great Grade 1 family. For Todd Pletcher to make the decision to run him here as opposed to waiting, there was a conservative path right in front of him to be able to run, Peter Pan, in a week or two, then maybe come back for the Belmont Stakes. He's had so much success going that route. Charge It with that pedigree. Great horse for the Belmont. The fact that he's here to me does speak volumes.
Something's happening.
They're not. I don't think those connections are just coming to run in the Derby. They come here with a chance, and it's not going to be easy.
See, I have my only argument against him is I guess what you can say for Tabor as well is to do with the experience. Indeed, hit the gate in the Florida Derby, hence wasn't perhaps where they wanted to be positioned. Wise still got up there quite close to a hot pace in the Florida Derby. I feel like he's still learning. Not the easiest race to continue learning in. Maybe that's my only
true,
answer.
very true. Everyone's a good pick in the Derby.
Well, I think I should do the rotating chairs as well.
Yeah, rotating.
Right?
It's a circle of chairs. It's a circle of chairs.
Haven't you really said hi to you much? Did you give out the winner in the last race?
No.
No, I don't think any of us saw that.
We tried.
I had Edgeway, so don't feel bad. I think Edgeway finished last.
Well, we called Flavian Pratt home, and then he got bested by 2 other horses. So
Flavian was nice. Pulled her back a little bit and just gave too much room.
Yeah, that didn't.
Did we? Well, it's a long day. There are more races to bet. Did we get you on record with the Derby selection?
Yes, I went Epicenter. And Messier, Tabor.
All right, I love it. I love it. We will let you get back to your day. I mean, you have to enjoy the day. Sorry, we told you.
Thank you for having me. I just wanted to come say hello to you.
I love it. Did you talk about this?
Etsy.com, all handmade pieces, and I like to try and find something different.
Cool.
And I had a huge chat yesterday, so I thought something more streamlined, so I wasn't hitting everyone.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I know. I keep hitting people. I'm like, oh God.
Every time I gave someone a hug yesterday, I whacked them in the face.
Yeah. That's nice. The headband's so nice to take off at the end of the day that you're like, oh, like digs into your ears.
Yeah. But you want to have a beautiful, different hat piece on Derby Day. So I definitely planned this about 2 months out, thinking.
Nice, love it.
It really is so cool. So
cute.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you. Well, guys, thank you so much
Tucker,
for having
folks.
me.
Yeah,
nice
we'll
to
see
meet
you.
you.
We'll see you in Maryland in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Preakness time, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it. Naomi
have a
Tucker.
fun day, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for spending a few minutes here.
Yeah.
And just like that, we are taking a look now again at the American flag blowing. Lots of air blowing.
I don't know. That blow seems very not representative of the action that we are receiving here. That flag is calmly blowing when really.
It's colder.
Really.
It's colder than it looks.
I mean, my hat is staying on, but if you could see just these papers, well, you can't see the papers because it's TwinSpires, but. Hello.
Hey there.
Danielle, meet Bobby Marks.
No, we know each other.
We met each other.
Oh, you did?
Breeders' Cup.
Breeders'
6 months
Cup.
ago.
Forget about me. All right, never mind.
Breeders'
Exactly.
You were at the same table, right, for a while?
We were in the same
Just
tent.
like
Same area.
Yeah.
Same area.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so for those who don't know, Bobby Marks, phenomenal handicapper, likes to bet the ponies here
Yeah,
and there,
of
here and
course.
there.
It's
Likes to
not
dabble.
his first betting.
Likes
It's not
to
his
dabble.
first rodeo.
Not his first. Have you been to the Derby before?
Yeah, this is my fifth.
Fifth Derby.
Yeah.
Your best Derby was?
I mean, the first one's, you never forget your first, right?
This is my first one.
Well.
And she already wants to forget it based on the temperature.
Right.
But
You got to get a heater out here for
I know.
it.
Next time.
Yeah.
We thought it was good. Tomorrow here it's going to be 72.
Wonderful. And you'll be home in Nashville.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, too. So I've been the last 5 years, right? And the year I missed was 2020. There was no one allowed to come. And you look at the date that the Derby was supposed to be, probably would have been the best day of all 6 years. It was like beautiful,
of course,
sunny, no rain, you know. And
because it rains
my
here
wife's
a lot,
here with
right?
me. She's been 3 times, and every time she's come, it's rained. So this is our first dry Derby.
Yeah, it does rain here a lot. I'd rather this than rain, I guess. You know.
I guess your wife just brought the wind today. Just the
Yeah,
wind and a little bit of a chill.
Do you
Exactly,
feel like
that's right.
does the weather affect the horses in any way, like the cold, or do they not feel it? Like, do you think?
They probably appreciate it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because really, if you think about it, they run everywhere that's warm. Like Santa Anita's really warm. Florida Derby's warm.
Yeah, you've been to Gulfstream. You've seen a number of tracks now.
And they all are very warm.
Now they do run through the winter at very
Saratoga
cold
probably
locations.
is a little chilly up there.
Well, in the summer, it's generally nice.
Beautiful,
Usually rainy,
yeah.
pretty rainy.
Yeah.
But look, we're on the TwinSpires.com live stream here. As we've told people, that code on the bottom of your screen will get you $200 back if you open up an account today. And also, you get your money back on win bets up to $10 if your horse finishes second or third. We don't want to finish second or third, though. We want to win. In this upcoming race, which we are now moving ahead in the program. We just saw the Derby City Distaff, and now we have the American Turf. Have you looked at this race much? And if you haven't, it's okay to say no.
I've got the whole thing.
Okay. Tell us who's going to win the American Turf, how to bet it, and then we want your Derby pick, obviously.
Of course. Yeah, I like Side Dog here. Side Dog is the 7 Side Dog.
Irad
second
Ortiz
off the
up,
layoff, Irad, Graham Motion. I thought the last race was really good. Something that, Kinchin always talks about, closing into a slow pace, was wide too. So I think Side Dog is probably the horse you want to put on top. I've also got the 6 Portfolio Company. Should be somewhat forward. Coming into the week, I thought that the turf, this new turf course they have here, was going to play more forward, and I feel like it did the first couple of days. There's been some rain here. Now it seems like you almost want to be wide or coming down the crown of the track, right? Saez seems to figure that out a little bit. So, what I handicapped was 7-6, but I think you need to include the 4 in there too, Red Danger. Saez seems to know what he's doing. He's got 2 winners, I think, for he had the 9 yesterday, New Year's Day, and had one earlier today, right? I'll blank on the name, but
I can't remember the name either, but at a big price too.
Big price,
Yeah. And no main event? No main event at all?
I felt like main event was kind of a need the lead type, and I'm not sure he'll get it here. So, I mean, he's drawn inside, so, if Jose's great at that.
Jose's on fire today. He's riding confidently, yeah.
He is probably, in my opinion, the best front-end turf rider.
Yeah.
Gets him to relax, and, we'll kick on. So we'll see. I mean, maybe he does gun for the lead, and everyone else sort of
better than
backs
his
off
brother?
of him.
Is he?
What's that?
Was he better than his brother in your
On the
opinion?
lead, absolutely, yeah. I
interesting.
feel like Irad is one you want to take, like,
Yeah.
he'll be sitting second or any other position.
Right, yeah.
But Jose on the lead.
Yeah, for sure.
So you don't think that main event will be on the lead? I'm assuming you think Portfolio Company will be.
Yeah, I think he'll be closer, yeah.
Yeah, so Portfolio, because I thought Portfolio Company potential, wire candidate, but there is a little bit of speed outside of coinage, I guess, could put a little pressure on. But yeah, I think that's where I was. I was Portfolio Company a little bit. This is a lot of good horses in this. Like all these races today, you can make 10 different cases. I was confident in a horse in the last race, Edgeway. You were confident in Kamari, and we just, we missed another horse who was a really good horse. You know? So.
It's just tough. You can't go extremely wide in every race, right?
Yeah.
You're just gonna eat up all of your value. I mean, you've seen,
Oh, yeah.
the way that I play, like thin is in type of tickets, right? So
he bets. So you should hear his strategy. So he bets like, I mean, you don't have to get into the dollar amount, but he bets like larger denominations. And he does, you know how we put sometimes like 3-4 horses with like another 4 or 5 horses? He's like 1 horse here, 2 horses here. Like that's it. Like he won't, but he bets it for large amounts of money, and when it hits, it pays a lot.
Right.
Yeah. Did I describe that well? I guess it described it so well.
No, that's great. That's exactly it. Right. So you wanna be able to express your opinion, and when you hit, you want it to really pay for all the losses, right? Because you're going to lose a ton here, right? So, I mean, you're like, oh, I've got 2 horses I like and then 4 others I could include. I feel like some people would say, all right, I'm 6 wide here. For me, I'll just scrap the other 4. I mean, you take 6 horses and the 7th horse beats you, right? And you lose so much value doing it that way, or so much equity, I guess you could say. So that's kind of the way that I do it.
Interesting.
We did talk earlier about the Kentucky Derby being maybe one occasion in which you could go a little deeper or a little wider. We had Chris Felica on the Bear a little while ago, and he was saying his strategy is he just hammers, get this, a 6-horse exacta box. But in a 20-horse field, if you catch a 25-1 and a 10-1, that's a good play. And a year like this year, where we don't have any clear-cut favorite, is that maybe a time when it's appropriate to spread like that?
Yeah, I could see it. You know, and you talk about the larger denominations that I play, a day like today where you're ending in the Derby, it's a 20-horse field, I mean, you could get a base wager to pay, a boatload of money.
Right.
So I think you think about it the same way with the exacta, with the trifecta, doubles, pick 3s into the Derby. If you can just get the win, I mean, first, second, third in the Derby, first, second, I mean, it's a very, very difficult thing to get right. Even in years like, where Justify might be a clear-cut favorite or something like that, right? Getting those 2 underneath, it's very tough.
It's hard when it's 20 for me. Like, I need a couple. Like, I can't. Because then there's other ones that are like twinkling in there where I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe. And then I don't, and then it wins. And I'm like, see, I knew it, So, yeah, I probably have to box it.
This field is really competitive. Let's get you on record here. How are you betting the Kentucky Derby?
So I like Mo Donegal.
Okay.
On top. That's my number 1 pick.
Everybody in the seat loves Mo Donegal. Him and Pete Rotundo, Mo Donegal.
I like Mo Donegal. I feel like that race was the wood was really fast. It's funny. I saw Chad at dinner last night at Jeff Ruby's, and I was like, man, I wish you would have kept early voting in the race, and not for the speed presence. I thought if early voting was in the race, he'd be my top pick.
Really?
He would. Yeah,
wow.
He absolutely would. I thought the run that he made from about a half mile out, he was getting some pressure. The pace started to really quicken. I mean, you're holding on against a horse like Mo Donegal, who, I mean, it just gets beat a nose. Now going a mile and a quarter, maybe that changes things because Mo Donegal probably wins by a little bit more. But I thought his last race was really good. He's going to have to get a trip. The 1 hole is tough, right? I don't think at the end of the race, if he doesn't get there, I'll be like, oh, it was the 1 hole that beat him. It's just, kind of racing luck or whatever. So
yeah. I mean, he's got ability, he's got talent. We've seen it. And I think for a lot of these, we like Charge It a lot. Yeah. For Taba, especially the horses that are a little more inexperienced, a bit of adversity might do them in today. So
Zandon, a lot of people like Zandon.
Yeah, Zandon's another one like Mo Donegal who's going to come running from the back, right?
Yeah.
The way
Charge It, apparently, because I've been bringing it up to a lot of people, it's a toss-up for people. Like, for us, it's like a sure bet.
Yeah.
And especially,
they love him or hate him,
especially with, like, it's family and, like, the mom and dad and, like, not the mom,
pedigree
dad,
there
the line.
is
The pedigree. The mommy and the daddy. It's like, that's like the best pedigree in the race.
Yeah, and it's interesting this year, I feel like you haven't heard as much about can they get the distance.
Right, that hasn't come up at all.
It hasn't come up at all. And I don't know if it's that, you've got these trainers who can just, get these horses that are like maybe milers or non-furlong horses to get that extra furlong. Or if you're on the front end, it's like, come and get me type of thing. You haven't heard much about the pedigree, but Charge It's definitely one with the pedigree.
Who's your favorite trainer?
My favorite trainer? Oh, man.
Like whose
I
work
like
do you
Chad,
like best?
I mean, I guess Chad Brown, right? I mean, that might be like a kind of
you like his work, like
I
with
just
the horses?
like, you know, I like turf racing
Yeah.
more than dirt, I think, and so I mean, he just does a tremendous job with on the turf. So yeah, he's probably my favorite, I guess, if I had to pick one.
That's good.
Yeah, I
'Cause
saw
I feel
him
like-
last night too. He said he's pretty confident in Zandon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's the thing. So now now we're
Insider info.
That's it. Now we're venturing into another topic of conversation with this guy. He texts me at like 6 in the morning, dude, come out to this party I'm at. It wasn't that late, but it was late. Like for somebody like me, I was going to bed at 10.
Yeah.
You were on the road.
I was like up at 4 a.m. driving.
When you were driving here to the Derby, you was like not even going home yet.
where were you coming from? Lexington?
Nashville.
Oh, okay.
So, because you lose an hour from Central, and I was
Sure.
like, oh no, and it's 3 hours.
Yeah,
and then
we're right on the line
And
here.
then I
yeah.
wanted to get ready, so I was like, well, I don't want to get ready in Nashville and like sit in my car.
Right,
So
yeah.
So I had to leave at like 4 a.m.
So this guy could at least give us a like sort of a taste of the nightlife around here. I mean, I know you've been ended up
There's
at
a lot
house
of
parties.
things happening, yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly the house parties, you know, most of the house parties.
Yeah.
We were at, I think, an equine medicine.
We got some action over your shoulder, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, no, yeah.
Oh, man.
We should just be careful. Just in case
Yeah, right, just in case it spills
Guys,
over
it is
into us.
wild
I mean, so
here.
something my wife mentioned is the people watching out here
A
in
lot
the
of people
infield
watching.
is like, oh my goodness.
It's
You know,
a
I'm
whole-
like, you doing okay out here?
And
She's like,
especially
oh yeah.
like
I'm
every 30 minutes, like people just get drunker and drunker, and it is just wild. But also great for the lines and betting. And great, everyone, but yeah.
Bet, for sure. And
Yeah.
we do encourage, obviously, we have some drinks here. If you want to have drinks at home, go for it. If you're out here, obviously, and if
Yeah.
you're enjoying, obviously make sure that you have a DD. You're not
Yes.
driving drunk. Just be careful on the way home later on. But Bobby, before we let you go, you mentioned Mo Donegal that you like. How are you actually going to bet the Kentucky Derby?
So I tried to get to Mo Donegal in horizontals, but you know, the pick 5 got blown up in the last race. I'll be in the pick 4. You know, I'll be in some of the verticals. The other horses I like, I mean, Epicenter. So Epicenter's gonna end up being the favorite.
I think so.
Yeah.
Looks
So
like
I've got a little
It's interesting because we weren't really that high on him like at the beginning.
We were like, hey,
But now with everyone, see, you can't change your bets talking to everyone.
Yeah.
You can talk to everyone and change your bets.
Everyone's got an opinion. Yep.
So Mac's alive to a few things to Epicenter already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know about.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Oaks Derby double, he's alive to Epicenter. So
Okay.
what's going to end up happening is he's going to end up betting on Epicenter.
Yeah.
He'll end up being the favorite, right? He'll obviously push.
What do you
him
think
to
goes
favorites
off at, like 7-2? Or
No, I think he'll
4
be.
to
I
1?
think he'll be like 4 to 1.
4 to
yeah,
1.
I think
Yeah.
that's what he's trying to get this year. You
Yeah.
know, last year was like essential quality, just go in with both hands.
Yep,
And
yep.
he brought the price way down. So, yeah, Mo Donegal, Epicenter. I think Taba is one you certainly want to look at. Saw Mike last night at Jeff Ruby's as well.
He's feeling good?
He said he's feeling good. He said not to worry too much about the like missed work, if you will, right, or the
Yeah.
time between the Santa Anita Derby
Yep.
and the next work. He said
Yep.
he's doing really, really good. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I like White Barrio a little bit too.
Really? Yeah. I'm so conflicted on that horse. I mean, I'm like Safi Joseph doing great work down at Gulfstream. I've seen him ship a lot of horses a lot of places. They just don't really run the same way. Depends on the location. I mean, of course, he did win. Everyone talks about the Math Wizard win in the Penn Derby, but other than that, I mean, there isn't really much on the paper from Safi Joseph kind of shipping into other places. This is a big spot. That horse looks incredible. White Barrio is a beautiful horse. Hasn't done anything wrong.
You'll definitely be able to spot him, you know, running around there.
Yeah, he is. He definitely stands out.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we've got your top 4 or 5. For those of you watching again on TwinSpires, you got the sign-up bonus. Plus, one of these long shots like White Barrio, I think it's still like 11 to 1. You can bet the horse to win. If he finishes second or third, you get your money back on TwinSpires. So there's an opportunity there. We've taken a lot of your time. We know you want to get back.
It's been great.
To a little drinking, a little having fun. She's ready for you to just come back. She's like, get the heck off that set.
She's so proud.
I love her hat. I love her hat. So who brought who to the Derby? Do you drag her or does she drag you? Or is it
Probably
equal?
me more dragging her.
Great.
Yeah. But we have a good time. We had a daughter 20 months ago now, and this is the
Wow.
first trip we've taken both of us, right, without her. So we've each gone places.
Oh, that's great.
Definitely go get yourself a couple more drinks and start betting right now.
Mom and Dad go wild. That's great.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So.
Fabulous.
Bob, good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much.
For stopping in. Appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way. Bobby Marks, folks. You're getting a look now again at some of the scenes from around the infield here.
Yes.
At Churchill Downs. Look, there's so much to do. You come to the Kentucky Derby. You can have a drink. You can dress up.
Lots of food.
You can have food. There's not much bad about it, right? You make a little money in the process. We're doing a little ballet here, a little moving around on the set.
We're just playing a little musical chairs. If you can't
musical
see.
chairs. I think Rachel might be ready in a moment here. Is Rachel ready to go?
Who's Rachel?
Everyone signal Rachel's ready to go. All right, we're gonna kick it over to Rachel with some more fun in the infield.
All right, we're back to play another round of Catch the Cap. I've pulled these lovely ladies to play this game with us. So how this works is there's 5 horse names, racehorse names specifically. 4 of them are totally real, and 1 of them is completely made up. So I'll have you read them off. Okay. You guys don't have to agree on the decision, but...
Okay, so A is No Moss Tequila, B is Espresso Martini, C is Rosé All Day, D is Glass Half Empty, and E is Material Girl.
You think Espresso Martini is fake? Okay, what about you?
I'm going to go with B too. I think that's the most normal one. So.
I'm pretty sure that B is a real one.
B is, in fact, a real one.
No. It's in the Derby this year, right?
Not in the Derby this year, but...
That one's real.
Is a very noteworthy racehorse themselves. So what one do you think is fake?
I'm going to go Material Girl.
Gut instinct. The fake one is actually Glass Half Empty. You know how Material Girl is a phrase that's very in right now, and somehow it's the name of a real racehorse.
From the past?
Yes. You guys did great. It's a tough game.
Yes.
How's the rest of the day at the infield going for you guys? You having fun?
Yes, a lot of fun.
Hopefully we're gonna win some money.
Yeah, betting on the Derby then?
Yes. Yes. Barber Lane or Barber Avenue? Barber Row? That's because my last name is Barber, so.
Oh, that's a good way to pick them. Yeah, road, lane, avenue. It's all one and the same. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your day in the infield. And the party rages on. Countdown to Derby. Back over to you guys.
Got it on her third try. She tried lane, avenue. Road was the only logical alternative to those. But Barber Road, I like. That's a horse we haven't talked about that much. Barber Road finishing second in the Arkansas Derby to Cyberknife, who's another horse we haven't spoken much about. I do want to jump into more of a Derby conversation with our next guest, who's calling in remotely here from New Jersey, I believe, somewhere in the Northeast. It's Anita Marks, our good friend from ESPN New York, ESPN Daily Wager. Anita, how you doing?
I'm great. Besides the fact I've lost my ass today, yeah, I'm great. I mean, what's going on there? Why aren't the horses I'm selecting winning? I mean, really?
There's
all
a lot
the
more
long
races
shots.
left. Yeah. There's plenty of time to get up off the mat and get in the game.
You know, and like, what are we going to win on Sky Dog coming your way in just a few minutes? Nothing. So I just, a part of me is like, oh, let me just sit back and wait until the Derby and put my money on Cyberknife and see if see if he can pull the upset. It's probably, it might be my best move. So I hosted today on ESPN Radio here in New York the last 3 hours. And while I'm hosting a show by myself, mind you, I'm putting my bets in, I'm watching the race, and
that's what that's doing the whole time. Dan has TwinSpires open.
But I'm losing. Anyway, hopefully things will turn around for me the last few races, guys.
Well, like Pete said, it's still early. There are a number of races left between now and the Kentucky Derby. Kentucky Derby is the big race. What I want to do real quick is that you mentioned a horse named Cyberknife. I want to show the folks watching what happened in Cyberknife's last race, which is the Arkansas Derby.
Has put away Kavad, but he has to deal with Secret Oath in the center. Then comes Barber Road, a final furlong, Cyberknife. Here comes Secret Oath on the outside. She's still 2 lengths behind. Cyberknife, Secret Oath is not going to get by. The Arkansas Derby winner, and his name is Cyberknife. In front. Cyberknife won. Barber Road got into second. Secret Oath was third. Maybe Doppelganger for fourth.
All right, so Anita, we could just come right out of that with, I'm assuming that's a big part of the reason why he's your Derby pick.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Brad Cox, horse, right? The only negative here for me is that he's in that 16th post, right? Dan, you and I were on the phone earlier this week, and we talked about the importance when you're talking about a 20 horses. It's really important where your post position is, and you want to be somewhere in the middle. And again, me being new to horse racing, you inform me it's great when you're in the middle, especially like another horse that I like is Charge It. He's going to be one of the last horses that are going to be placed into his stall before, of course, they have to start racing, which obviously is a huge benefit for the horse as well, not having to sit around and wait for all the other 19 horses, right, to get ready to go. So, but won the Arkansas Derby, hasn't raced in 5 weeks. Everything I'm hearing is that Cyberknife has been training really well. And at the end of the day, you want some good odds. So yesterday, last I looked, 20-1. This morning, more like 13-1, 12-1. Be interested when the race kicks off, what the odds are going to be. But my money's going to be on Cyberknife. Hopefully he pulls the upset.
Amazing. We actually, Dan and I are big Charge It fans over here. Just looking at the bloodline, we really think we have something. And then the more people we have on, they're convincing us to go to someone else. So you got to stick with your pick, I guess.
Well, everything I hear is that Charge It is the wise guy horse. I have quite a few friends who are there at the Derby with you guys who have been texting me for the last 3 hours like, hey, you like Charge It, right? You like Charge It, right? I'm like, yeah, I like Charge It. I love Cyberknife. I like Charge It. So how I'm going to play this, I'm going to play this a few ways, right? Because there's no yeah, we know who the favorites are, but are you really going to win a lot of money with them? Probably not. So I'm going to play Charge It to win. I'm going to play Cyberknife to win. And then I'm going to put in a few exactas and trifectas. I'm going to put in both Bob Bafford's horses. I know even though he's not in attendance, we know those are his horses. I'm also intrigued by the Japanese horse, the 7 horse as well. So I'm just gonna have some fun. I'm gonna play it quite a few ways. Sit back and say Cyberknife, just like that guy just said with that call, and scare all my dogs. They'll probably go running underneath the couch until the race is over. Yeah, like at 6:57 p.m. tonight, things are gonna get crazy here in my apartment.
So I have a confession to make about Cyberknife. This is a horse I've been on record as being a little bit skeptical about the form of the Arkansas Derby. However, we did see yesterday a horse come out of that race, a filly actually, Secret Oath, to win the Kentucky Oaks. So between that piece of evidence and as well as he's supposed to be doing, I will admit I'm having second thoughts about maybe trying to get him involved in a combination or two, and hearing your enthusiasm isn't doing anything to dissuade me from that position.
Okay, I guess that's a good thing, right? I will say this, like I said, I just got done hosting Sports Talk Radio here in New York, and I had quite a few callers who called in asking, hey, that Messier horse, right? That has something to do with the Rangers, who, by the way, are playing the Penguins later on tonight for that third game, trying to win that the Stanley Cup. But nonetheless, I bet you guys are going to have a lot of New Yorkers who are going to be putting a lot of money on that Bafford horse, the Messier horse. I think it's the 6th horse, right? Just because of the correlation with the Rangers in New York City. So expect quite a few dollars from New Yorkers on that horse for sure.
See, as an Islander fan, it makes me allergic. I'm starting to have a reaction just thinking about having to bet a horse named after the great New York Ranger. But Marc Messier, universally beloved figure. I should probably just get over that and hit the button.
I do see a lot of comments here from the people viewing the show right now across all of our channels here, streaming on TwinSpires, streaming on America's Best Racing. We're on your channel, Danielle. We're on your channel, Pete. We're everywhere out there right now. And the question people have is, can you watch us on TwinSpires? The answer is yes. You go to TwinSpires.com, and you can watch all of this live racing. You can watch the races on TwinSpires.com. You can also watch it on TV, on NBC, as well as on your phones or any other devices you use to stream on the NBC Sports app and on Peacock. The post time for the Kentucky Derby, as Anita mentioned just a moment ago, 6:57 p.m. Eastern Time. Anita, since you touched on it, it's basketball, NBA playoffs, it's NHL playoffs. We're gonna get you on record here. Who wins the NBA championship? Who wins the Stanley Cup?
Oh, great question. So I'm rooting for the Florida Panthers to win the Stanley Cup. As you know, I'm from Miami. I was in Miami when the organization was first created. Van Beesbrook was their goalie. I know I am dating myself here. So I am rooting for the Panthers, and I think they have a really, really good shot of winning. So that's first and foremost. As for the NBA championships, man, we are in the thick of it. Who would have thunk that Embiid coming back last night would have held the Miami Heat to 79 points and beat them by 20. So now we've got a series on our hands in regard to Philadelphia and Miami. And then Dallas and Luka looked fantastic last night against the Suns. That's fun. But I've said this for quite a few weeks now. Ever since the All-Star break, I'm all in on the Boston Celtics. Coming into this series, best defense in the NBA. Defense wins championships. And there's something special between Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They can just do it a multitude of ways. They've got strong perimeter shooting. They're solid inside in the paint with Robert Williams now back healthy, helping them on defense. I think Boston checks all the boxes. So I'm going with the Boston Celtics, guys.
I like it. I like it. What do we think of the Suns? I lost audio for a minute. Did you say anything about the Suns and kind of what their situation is now? I mean, I haven't watched it because I've been in Derby mode the past week. If Booker's back, are they they're the team?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Booker's back. They went into Dallas last night up on the series 2-0. Chris Paul has been absolutely tremendous. Probably one of the best closers in all of sport, right? Regardless of what sport you're talking about. Him in the fourth quarter, and you got the feeling last night, even though Dallas was playing so well and there was a lot of energy, that Chris Paul and possibly the Suns were going to come out and possibly take the third game. But three-point shooting from the Dallas Mavericks at home was just spot on. Bullock sinking the three-pointer with just about 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter really sealed the deal. But I do believe the Suns are going to win. I wouldn't be surprised if the Suns represent the West. And I'm anticipating a Suns-Boston Celtics championship. That's what I anticipate happening.
All right. So Anita has made it clear she is she's had it with the horse betting today. She mentioned Side Dog potentially as her bet coming up. Pete, you want to give her a horse in the upcoming race so that maybe we can get an
Let's look. Let's turn this thing around. We always say in this game, it only takes one. Now, I will be honest with you. This race, historically, the American turf, a burial ground for me. But we're going to turn that around too this year, and we're going to come up with a winner. I'll be honest, I really like the favorite, Side Dog, in this spot. This is a horse who was so good at Keeneland. He closed really well that day to win despite a race flow that shouldn't have been in his favor. There's plenty of other speed in here to set up his late run. I'm going to play Side Dog over Portfolio Company and Balnikov. So that's 7 with 5-6.
7-5-6. Anita, I see Anita taking notes.
Yeah. A lot of people saying Portfolio Company. We've had a lot of that today.
I think Portfolio Company could get out there and take them the whole way. 5-1 is a price I like on Portfolio Company.
How much time till post time? How much time do I have to get that bad boy bet in?
Oh, you've got
9 minutes.
Oh, okay. All right, we're good. We're good. I won't rush you.
9 out of 12. We're in two different spheres.
Either way, plenty of time. Take advantage of these great TwinSpires.com promo offers and get involved.
Okay, so just to confirm, so I'm on Cyberknife. Dan, I know you are on Charge It, and or is it
Danielle?
Is it
Charge It as well.
okay?
Top pick for me is Mo Donegal.
Mo Donegal for Pete.
Using loads of Zandon as well, but if you made me pick one, it's Mo Donegal.
Okay. All right. So interesting. Between the four of us, we're not on the favorites. Epicenter and Zandon. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
It's that kind of race. There's a lot of stories you can tell, a lot of cases you can make. About 6 horses, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see them win. That's not usually the case.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
And
very,
a lot of
very
epicenter as well. For the racing, how she rides, a lot of epicenter.
Really, really exciting Derby this year. We are pumped. You can, people are asking, can I watch it on TwinSpires? Yes, TwinSpires.com is where you go if you want to watch it. Again, you can watch it on NBC as well and on Peacock, and then you could use those promo codes when you're on TwinSpires to get a little money back. So, even if you lose, it kind of softens the blow just a little bit. Anita, the Preakness, a couple of weeks from now. I know we've got some stuff on tap, so looking forward to connecting with you in the next couple of weeks. For those who don't know, where can they catch you during the week?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm part of our ESPN wagering platform. So we have a show that airs on ESPN2 Monday through Friday from 6 to 10 p.m. called Daily Wager. We had a special Derby show today that aired from 11 to noon. So really excited about that. Hopefully some of the folks out there tuned into that. And then I'm on ESPN Radio here in New York Friday nights with a gambling show, Weekend Wager, from 10 to midnight. And then my own show, the Anita Marks Show, on Saturday from noon to 3. Sunday, I have a golf show from 8 to 9 a.m. I know you weren't ready for all of this, Dan. 8 to 9 a.m. on the tee with Anita Marks talking all things golf, and then 9 to noon as well. So radio, TV, all ESPN, and of course, really excited to spend some time with you this coming racing season, especially when we head up to Saratoga and do some shows on ABR, which I'm really excited about.
Love it, love it. Anita, good luck with Cyberknife. We'll see you soon.
You got it.
Anita Marks, everyone. ESPN Radio. She's spectacular. Like, we also like you. Like she was just like, yeah, I kind of think horse racing is cool. And then the next thing she knew, she's like betting every single day with us, and she's fully in it.
Love that.
We do have Rachel Miller standing by for these bits, which have become increasingly, I think, probably the best part of my day right now. I'm waiting to hear what she has now. Rachel, what's going on?
Yeah, well, as you can see, there's been a wardrobe change. The chill got the best of me. I hate to admit that. As someone from the Pacific Northwest, I like to think that I am a warrior when it comes to the cold. But I don't have a liquid alcohol blanket on like everybody else here, at least not yet. I'll be working on it shortly after this live stream wraps. But as you can see, it's massively filling in. Tons of people out here. Like, I'm truly blown away. I'm in culture shock. Again, first Derby, seeing everything firsthand, and I'm loving it. The people watching is great. I'm honestly speechless at the end of this day, but I'm loving it at the same time. It's like Disneyland, I had always thought was the place to go to see just all kinds of people enjoying life. And the Kentucky Derby is like 10 notches up from that. So taking it all in, vibing with the crowd, having some fun. We're here for it, baby. Kentucky Derby. I've loved reporting from the infield, and I'll definitely be back here again next year. But back over to you guys.
What would you say is the average age of the people around you? Can you hear me?
You hear that, Rachel? Oh, she doesn't have her audio.
Because just from looking, I would say, like, look at that crowd right there. Just alone, I would say 24. Look at that.
It's
right
youngish
there.
right here.
College, all college, right there.
Well, that's what it's all about. That's the next generation
Yeah.
of horse
I mean,
players.
that guy made, people need to check these IDs. I'll tell you that much. But then it's so interesting in the grandstand, everyone's very old. Like, grandmas and grandpas.
Well, that's the thing. This is the next generation
Yeah,
right here.
thank
It's all about
goodness.
cultivating the next generation. But that's why I was disappointed when that one guy said, I don't know who's running in the Derby. But I was very pleased to hear when she was on with a couple ladies after, they were like, I like Barbara Road. They were about to give us a superfecta and like the American turf. They had it all figured out. But then, you know.
You got to at least know who's in the Derby.
You got to know who's in the Derby.
At least know who's in the Derby.
Yeah. It takes all kinds, though. You walk around and you can see there's people here for all different reasons. For some of them, it's just about the party.
Yeah.
But it is always good to see the new people who take a little interest. It's never been easier with, content on America's Best Racing in the Money Media. Wherever you get your horse racing content, I'd like people to at least do the minimum of studying by watching like a 3-minute YouTube video.
Yeah. Oh, there's such good ones, like short 3-minute ones that I would watch last year. The interesting thing too is when I went to Keeneland, I thought it was a nice young crowd too. Not as young as this, but like solid, like 20s.
They do those college days there that you never felt better about the future of the sport.
Yeah.
Because it's, in Lexington, and in Louisville too, but really in Lexington, it's such a part of the culture. And that's one of the things that I love about Saratoga the most. It's interwoven into the fabric of the town. You can't go anywhere in Saratoga during racing season and not see somebody either looking at it on their iPad or even maybe, it's amazing the old technology with the actual printed racing form out everywhere, and the races are on everywhere, and that just, I don't know, it warms my my heart, and you walk around here and just, it makes racing feel so relevant and, dare I say, cool.
And like not weird because you like it. Yeah, you're not the odd one out. I agree. We went to that really nice Italian restaurant downtown Saratoga.
Salivo?
It must be, right? There's only like a couple of really good restaurants down there. And outside, there was TVs. Like they had pushed the TVs outside for the outside dining, and they had Santa Ana on the TV. And my mom was like, because it's what East Coast, right? My mom was like, wait, why is there horse racing on? It's 11 p.m. I'm like, not on West Coast time. There's still racing. So yeah, you're right. Like Saratoga in August, that's all it is.
It's pretty magical. And people who ask me,
it's beautiful up there too. Oh my gosh.
It's one of those frequently asked questions where, especially when I do the international stuff.
Yeah.
I want to go racing in America. Where should I go?
Yeah.
And I have a few pat answers. You always want to tell them. I always push the Breeders' Cup because if you're an English or Irish racing fan, you'll get to see some of their horses compete. So that gives a little extra. Obviously, the Derby gets mentioned, but Saratoga is something in and of itself that, if you're thinking about making a racing trip this time of year, there's really no wrong answers, but Saratoga's a real good one.
If I'm going to London in June or July, like, are there races every weekend?
Well, every day.
You just spoke his language.
And if you happen to be there June 14th through 19th, there's this little race meeting called Royal Ascot.
Oh, that's what it is? We were talking about that. So I think I'm going to Wimbledon.
Oh, no way. I'm so envious.
It's my bucket list.
That's right around the same time.
It's like July 4th weekend. So
Oh, that's great. But
so
there's loads of racing. I'll send you some ideas.
Cool. Yeah. That'd be good.
So we're talking about, so I've been to Royal Ascot, spectacular, great experience, one of the best experiences of my life. But I have 2 favors to ask of you. 2 favors. Pete's leaning in, he's like, what are you going to ask me for?
Yeah.
One's for me and one's for my dad.
Okay. Well, the one for your dad is no problem. We'll talk about it.
The one for my dad's easy. He said he wants you to speak about Smile Happy.
Okay.
So that's the first one. The second one is, I'm on TwinSpires right now. I'm going to bet the American turf. And so I know you mentioned your picks earlier. I'm going to bet a trifecta. I need a trifecta because I've lost so far. So now I'm trying to get out with a big hit. But start with Smile Happy briefly, yay or nay?
Oh, I think he's a little bit interesting for sure. He's a bit of a forgotten horse. And I think part of the reason is when you watch a lot of races and you go back and you watch the tape of that Bluegrass Stakes that we watched before, I think a seasoned horse player is going to have a little bit of a visceral reaction that there's no reason in theory for Smile Happy to reverse the form with Zandon. In other words, I think Zandon was clearly better, went by him like he was glued to the 16th pole, and Zandon had the tougher trip than Smile Happy. That said, Smile Happy being a much bigger price, being a bit forgotten in the wagering, with a good forward running style. You can't forget, this is a horse that would have been the anti-post favorite for this race.
Yep.
Just a couple of months ago, and it's not like he's really done anything wrong. He's coming along slowly. Maybe he's just meant to peak on a day like today. I don't know that he's good enough. He is not a horse that I am definitely going to be using, but he is most definitely a horse I would not be talking anybody else out of using as well. He makes a lot of sense as a long shot in this year's Kentucky Derby.
I have some thoughts on Smile Happy. I'm going to save them for after the American Turf because they're loading into the gate, and I want your trifecta. How would you bet this try?
7 with 5-6 with 5-6.
Yeah, 6.
7, 5, 6?
Yeah.
I'm calling 6 to win.
I want to add another
I got a tingle.
The 9 is an interesting price to get involved here as well. Stolen Base.
Ooh. I love that shot when they show them loading in the gate from the aerial. I love that.
Did I get this bet in? Let's see. Yeah, I did 7 with 5, 6, 9, 11. So I threw the 11 in.
Okay, I like it.
I'll just say
Big price.
briefly on Smile Happy, if my dad's still watching, he may have actually tuned out after you stopped speaking. He's like, that's it, I'm good. I don't need to hear Dan speaking. My notes here, and I did take elaborate notes on each horse. I did have that he ran a really nice race in the Risen Star, and he had virtually no pace to run into there.
Oh, here we
and
go.
he still ran on nicely. My only concern with him is that I do think we have seen him flatten out a little bit at 1 1/8. With this added distance, I do worry about him being able to kind of have that, kick on a little stronger than everyone else. But he could certainly be there. I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes in the top 5, certainly.
Yeah, he's a bit interesting at a number.
Who
we'll
is
see
the
what
10?
price goes off. Now, this is behind that, Dan. You're ahead if you want to make that screen bigger for us to watch.
Who's the 10? The 10 is flying.
Let us know what's happening, Pete, here.
Let's take
So the 11,
10 is flying.
I don't know how to pronounce his name,
Dawajic Chief.
Chief? This is the one I threw in with your pick, so if the 7 can actually show up, the 11 hopefully can hang in there for a little while.
I like the position of the 6 right now. Hanging back, chilling.
We need that 6.
I know he's going to come. He'll come.
You're fine. You're reassuring us.
He'll come,
Thank
guys.
you.
He will. Why can't I find this?
It's a little earlier.
Yeah, one more.
Keep going. That's
next race. There you go.
Okay.
Now you're in it.
Coinage. Interesting.
Let's see if
11.
Side Dog is going to get a run here. There's definitely been pace on. At least I can't see the fractions, but visually. That's Balnikov making a big, wide move in the little red
needs to come. Joel, come on.
There's Side
Stolen
Dog.
Base is moving.
Let's get Side Dog. Come on, Side Dog. Come on, 7. Come on, Side Dog. Come on, Side Dog. Come on, 3rd. Come on, 7. Come on, 7. Come on, 7. Come on, Side Dog. Come on, Side Dog.
9, 5, 7. That's good, right?
I have it.
Good.
My man. My man. My man. That was the one he said 9 at a little bit of a price. He liked it. That was your.
Yeah, was that? Yeah, I actually thought he was a little bit longer, but 5 to 1. We'll take it. We'll take it.
Dude. All right. Let's do it every single race now. Every other race.
That should pay okay.
I don't mind him finishing 3rd there. I had him.
Wins
one.
one. Man, Joel just fell back too much and had nothing left in the tank.
Yeah, so this horse, I expect to see this horse alone in the lead, the 6.
Yeah.
So he wasn't up there.
At the beginning he did, but he fell back. Interesting.
All right.
Side Dog.
Side Dog didn't really show. Balnikov moved very early and wide, but still stayed on and got a placing. Side Dog just got going too late, I guess, but
yeah,
we'll take it. Stolen Base ran a very big race.
Nothing in main
Flavian
event.
Pratt yet again.
Flavian's hot. Jose and Flavian are the 2 of the day. Let me ask you this, because we haven't really talked about this horse for the Derby at all, and because Jose is hot, simplification, what do we think?
He's got a chance at a very big price. Yeah.
That was actually my dad's horse originally, I will say. So he was like, have Pete talk about my horse. And I expect him to say simplification. He's like, Smile Happy. I was like, what happened to simplification? You liked that horse 2 days ago.
Flip-flop.
Yeah.
Reportedly been working well. Now, I'll say this. The Florida Derby was not the fastest prep race for this Kentucky Derby. And they didn't come home. The last part of the race in particular was not terribly fast, which doesn't bode well for going farther. That said, Charge It comes out of there. I still like him because I think he has so many reasons to improve. And simplification again, just at the price he's going to be, with rock solid form, reportedly doing well in the mornings, with a rider who's riding with great confidence. If you're looking for a horse I'm guessing he's going to be 30 to 1. I mean, we've talked about this before on the show, but it's a real racing truism. You just don't need many reasons to like or include a horse at a big number, and I undersold it. Simplification, 40 to 1 right now. There's a lot worse 40 to 1
to 1?
Yeah.
40 to 1
what
right there.
What happened to 20 to 1?
These are your live odds.
I
for the
put a
Kentucky
little
Derby.
on that.
Yeah. We're going to get to the windows because
that's not bad.
We
40
wrap
to 1.
up in about 20 minutes. No, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So this has been awesome, by the way. This has been
so
a lot of fun.
It's been fun.
We've dragged a lot of people on. You're I know, freezing.
It's okay.
You, kind of powering through this. This has been something
It's okay.
else.
Next time I'll check the weather. I didn't even think to check the weather, so it's my fault.
The weather people in Louisville this week have been worse than the handicappers.
I had like a cute little suit I could have worn, so I'm just mad I couldn't wear like a winter suit.
Right?
Like
Yeah, you
something
could've worn
chic. I know. It would have been so cute.
All right, I'm going to do a hard refresh here on the odds. Let's see what happens when we do that. So
we could.
The odds are refreshed.
God, who is 42? Summers tomorrow.
8 to 1, Mo Donegal. You're holding steady at 8 to 1, Pete.
Yeah.
You're worried. I mean, you got your other odds, so you're not entirely worried about that. Happy Jack at 21 to 1. Still, I'm kind of confused about what's going on there.
I'll tell you what's going on. Everybody knows somebody named Jack. I mean, Doug O'Neill, the trainer of the horse. I was doing a fun charity project with him the other day, signing bottles of Woodford Reserve for the 10th year anniversary of his win his win training. All have another. And through the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation website, you can buy these bottles, and the money goes to the amazing work that they do. trfinc.org/players if you want to check out more about that. But he said the horse should be 100 to 1. So why is the horse that the trainer says should be 100 to 1, 20 to 1? Because everybody knows somebody named Jack.
How did it get in here, though? How did it get into the Derby?
How did they let him in?
For 100 to 1.
He earned his way in. I mean, it's the way the point system works. If you get a third in a key prep race in a year where, you get a few defections, he was able to sort of sneak into the field. I'm not saying he doesn't belong in the race. He should just be a bigger price.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm picturing my mom at home. You talked about your dad. I'll talk about my mom at home. My nephew is Jack, and I can guarantee you she's betting 5 across the board on Happy Jack because of Jack.
Yeah.
So I think you do. If
Interesting.
however
smart.
many thousands of people do that. It happened the other year. There was a horse called My Boy Jack, and it was the same thing.
That's right.
That should have been 20 to 1, was 8 to 1. The mathematical term is a takeout reduction.
Yeah, takeout reduction. Yeah, so it's a benefit for all of us who are not betting the horse. But look, we're going to look silly in a few hours if Happy Jack does happen
Here
to pull
comes
off.
Happy Jack zooming on the outside.
I mean, if he wins at 20 to 1, I will be fine with that. I'll be like, you know what? I was not going to win this year at the Derby. I'm fine with that. Now, you talked about the confidence of Doug O'Neill, or maybe the lack thereof. But there was massive confidence from Steve Asmussen when he talked about Epicenter. He basically said, this horse is going to win. So he's like, don't even waste your time. Epicenter's winning. That's basically what he said, right?
Actually,
Paraphrasing.
2 people. Who else do we had on? We had multiple people say that about Epicenter.
Well, the trainer said the horse is going to win. He's like, don't waste your time. He's like, I don't know what you're talking. He's like, he said, I'll be surprised if the horse does not win.
To be fair, trainers notoriously bad touts.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they don't know what they're doing. They know everything about the horses in their barn.
Yeah.
But sometimes that knowledge stops at the end of their shed run. Now, I'm not meaning to insult anybody, and Steve Asmussen has forgotten more about horse racing than I'll ever know. But you will hear that a lot. If I had a nickel for every time a trainer told me a horse couldn't lose that lost, we'd be living in a much bigger house in Brooklyn.
That's true. Got it.
We're going to keep rolling down here.
Okay.
With some of these horses. Summer is tomorrow. So here's
Now that's your hunch play.
So Summer is tomorrow. You know the deal with this horse. Coming in from Dubai.
Yeah.
Mupat Seymour. So congrats to that outfit. They're like long-standing Dubai team. They've got a great team out there, and when I went to Dubai a couple of years ago, I actually went up and I kind of met some of their horses.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to Dubai soon.
Dubai
we
is
should
all,
talk.
yeah. Oh, this guy Seymour is the guy you got to get with.
Great.
They're basically like, you know what? We have an opportunity to run the Derby. We're going to take it. They know they're up against it, but this horse is holding a very important card because he has something that could be dangerous here, and that is speed. he can leave from the gate if he breaks cleanly and really make life difficult, potentially, for a horse like Messier just to his outside, and then further outside, you've got the other speed horses that we've talked about, potentially Teba, Zozos, Classic Causeway, who am I forgetting? All the other speed horses, and Epicenter to his inside.
Epicenter. I mean, I think Epicenter, there's a world in which those two just battle right from the gate like it's a sprint, because Summer is Tomorrow, his best form comes sprinting. I think he's a very important entrant in the race in terms of how he's going to press the pace and force Joel Rosario to make a very difficult decision in the heat of battle in the first few strides. I'd be absolutely shocked, no offense to the Summers of the world, but I'd be absolutely shocked if he's there. I don't want you to like cut a heel promo on me here, but you know what I'm saying. It's going to be a very tough situation for that horse. They got here, and that's something.
If he breaks clean and goes really fast, would it push Epicenter to the point where he couldn't go the distance?
It's entirely possible.
Oh, interesting.
Now, I think Rosario's clever. He may try to let some of this speed go and flop outside, but in a 20-horse field from the 3 post position, it's tough, and that's one of the reasons why one of my main opinions in the Derby is to let Epicenter beat me, knowing full well he could make me look foolish. It happens all the time in horse racing. You can't have an ego.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be able to bounce back quickly. As the guy who said he wanted to bet against everything coming out of the Arkansas Derby, who had secret oath stuffed me in a locker yesterday.
Stuffed me in a locker.
I know how that goes, but. You know, I'm gonna say it's a difficult situation for Epicenter, and there's some horses who are really ready to step up here. But Summer is Tomorrow he's still a key pace player in the race.
Interesting.
Don't feel bad about offending her with the Summer is Tomorrow thing, because Summer is Tomorrow is offensive to you. Summer is every day.
That's true. That's true.
It is not just tomorrow. It is today.
True.
It is tomorrow. It's the day after.
Yesterday. That's true.
Every day. Smile Happy we've spoken about, so I think we've covered off there. We think there's a shot he could hit the board potentially. Messier, more speed. We talked about it. Several people. Johnny V has done this multiple years in a row. He's taken a horse with a lot of speed, gone right to the lead. We talked about the name. Maybe the horse is getting money because of the name. But I think he's got the credentials too. I mean, he's run a couple of really big races. If he can. There we go.
Team Epicenter behind.
So, final word on Messier, yay or nay?
I mean, trifecta.
Yeah, I mean, for me, he's a horse that I'm going to include, but not key around.
Yeah.
One of the key angles he has going for him also is the fact that he's second off the layoff today. Horses very often improve second race off the layoff, and while I don't fully buy the conspiracy theory that Chris Felica put forth about the ride in the Santa Anita Derby, I will say this. When they made the lead, when they knew they were going to be 1 or 2, he wasn't asked for like a peak effort that day in the way that he will be today. And if he runs better than he ran in the Santa Anita Derby, the others are going to have to run very fast to beat him. I want him in my exactas.
I take him. He's out of my trifecta.
You're done with him.
I took him out.
It's
just
done
now.
to you. All right.
Yeah.
That's it. That just did it.
I just put it in my head what my trifecta is.
Oh, because I'm going to ask you. We're going to circle back once we go through all these horses.
Yeah.
Crown Pride. I think Patrick Reed, who was on earlier, said it best. I had to draw a line somewhere, and I drew it here. Here's one thing I have not said all week, but I'm a couple of White Claws in, so I'll be honest. My feeling is we all know the success the Japanese have had over the past, 12 to 18 months with horses running at international carnivals, running at the Breeders' Cup, so forth and so on. Everywhere,
Japanese
right?
horse was crazy,
So Japanese horses just keep showing up and running well. And I think we've now reached the point where there's enough awareness about that to where this could have probably been any Japanese horse, and most people be like, wow, the Japanese breeding program is really taking off, and now, these horses are legit. Now, look, this is the Dubai UAE Derby winner. So I'm not saying, this horse has no credentials. Not at all. This is a very talented horse. I just think we're almost at the point now where we're maybe starting to overcorrect a little bit and saying, you know what? These horses, for years, we've sort of dismissed them, and now we need to take them all seriously. My experience, I bet Mendelssohn heavily, so I still have that wound, I have that scar. My experience is in this particular race, you have to be alert. That bell that rings when the gate opens, that can't jar you. The crowd can't jar you. None of it. And you have to be ready to go. Even if you're not going to the lead, you have to be ready to go. in my experience, is the horses coming out of that race in particular, UAE Derby, and we haven't seen any horses from Japan really make a significant mark.
UAE Derby. That has my name.
She only cares about Dubai right now.
That has my name.
She's like, let's keep talking about
over
Dubai.
it.
It's in late March every year. Last Saturday in March, I think, usually. So
I need to get up there.
So that's
we'll
my
do a
take.
show from there next year.
That would be amazing.
The flights are actually really cheap. I got my round trip ticket for $575 to Dubai.
That's pretty darn reasonable.
I flew to LA round trip $475, $100 cheaper to LA.
We could, by the way,
It's
so
only-
you have the connects in Dubai.
Massively.
We've got
Yeah.
the racing connects.
Yeah,
We're gonna
we
make this
could,
happen next
yeah.
year.
And the Airbnbs are like $80 a night. Like it's not. It has like this like stigma around it. It's really like doable.
Yeah, it is.
We'll talk.
I don't believe that a horse can't make that path to success. You mentioned Mendelssohn before. Incredibly unlucky. That was in the days before they had one big starting gate. They used to have two mashed together.
Right.
And if you were in that middle position, there was this big gap in between, and horses are trained to like run towards daylight. He got absolutely body slammed at the beginning of that race in a way where there was just no coming back from it.
Yeah.
It's not that a horse can't win going that route. I'm just worried that what Dan said is true. There's been so much of a narrative, not only about the Japanese success around the globe, but specifically about how well this horse has trained in the morning. I think his price is about half of what it should be. I think the way the Japanese trainers train is a little different. We're so speed-oriented. They're more stamina-oriented.
Yeah.
If the pace really shows up in this race, it could bring his stamina into play. I could see him running late, but for my tickets, I would limit his use to third and fourth. I don't think he's fast enough to crack the top two.
What do we think, Danielle? Yay or nay on Crown Pride? No? Okay, we're moving on.
But
Charge It, I think you already know where we
We know
stand.
all about
Where do
him.
you stand?
I'm with him. I mean, I picked him third in my grid picks that I did. I just think he's got so much upside. He's got the best pedigree in the race.
Yeah.
He's shown so much class. We had Todd Pletcher on the podcast before he ever ran.
Jealous.
He spoke about him in
Oh
such
my
glowing
God.
terms.
Love Daddy Todd. We love him. We love his silver fox over here.
You know what we're going to do? Once this show is over, we're going to go. We're going to bet a lot of money on Charge It.
Yeah.
I don't know how much money you brought, but
cash.
whatever it is,
But
we're
I
betting.
can get it. Okay, yeah.
And we'll go to the ATM.
Yeah.
Bet on TwinSpires.
I got a suitcase and plenty of money in the Twin
I
Spires.
accidentally rubbed elbows with Todd Pletcher like 19 times last season, and we never met, and I wanted a picture so bad. And
Oh,
like,
that's easy.
We
That's
kept
easy
being
work.
in the same place, didn't we? And then he had COVID and showed up to that's a whole nother thing. And he showed up and won the race, and he had COVID with no mask on. The whole thing.
He's such. So there's a great clip going around on social media, on Twitter specifically. If you see Dwayne Lucas, who's 86 years old. 86 years old. He's a trainer. He gets on a horse every morning, and he's out there watching his horses. Picture 86 years old. Like if I'm alive at 86. I'm sorry, Dad.
Yeah, my grandma's
It's a miracle.
93.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but could you imagine her getting on a horse?
No.
Okay,
I'll
this
kill
guy
her.
is not only on a horse, he won one of the biggest races in the entire year yesterday
That's
with Secret Oath.
amazing.
Todd Pletcher goes up to him after the race, and Todd Pletcher finished second, and he goes, I just wanted to say congratulations. Just like he's like the epitome of class.
Yeah.
If you watch him before I got into horse racing, I was like, man, Todd Pletcher's kind of like a stiff, kind of weird guy.
Yeah.
I've been in this game now for almost a decade. Todd Pletcher is one of the best people in this sport.
Oh
So
my
you
God,
pick the right guy to,
Oh my gosh.
to be a
To
fan
be
of.
loved.
I think he's spectacular. So that's all I have to say
Okay, so
about Todd
Charge It. We don't know Tis the Bomb.
Tis the Bomb we haven't talked about. Do you want to give us the skinny
No
on Tis the
clue.
Bomb? We haven't mentioned him at all.
Very, very nice horse. He may be making a similar journey to the one that you're making in June to go over to England. I see him as a horse who has a real chance to go and run at a meeting like Royal Ascot. That's how good his form is on turf and synthetic surfaces, not conventional dirt. The race he won on conventional dirt, you could have timed it with a sundial. He's subsequently tried dirt twice more and run 7th. I just don't see it against this level of competition.
Okay. Zandon,
Love
Zandon, you're going to use Zandon.
Yeah, my
I'm
trifecta.
gonna use
Flavian's
Zandon.
just on fire.
He is on fire, and look, the horse.
Chad Brown.
Yeah, and to your point, I mean, if you're just betting this, if you're just putting a win bet in, man, Zandon at 8-1. If we lost our minds,
he should be
That's a good
about.
price.
He should be no bigger than 6-1, and maybe shorter than that. That's the value play. If you could bet the Kentucky Derby 100 times, that I can confidently tell you would be the right thing to play. But here's the problem: you don't get to bet it 100 times. You bet it one time.
Exactly.
So you got to be right. You got to be.
We don't know how he's going to break out of the
I
gates.
don't know why he's 8-1.
Pioneer Medina, another one we haven't spoken much
I'll
about.
tell you what, that's not a great name to pick.
Which one?
Pioneer of Medina.
You don't like that one?
That's
Like
like
Medina
Medina
Spirit? You think it's just bad juju?
It's bad juju.
Right.
Get away from that.
That's your man Fletcher, though, and just that fact alone at that price. I mean,
yeah.
There are some sharp people who support this horse. I think it's a big ask. But again, I'd talk nobody off at 47-1. That's a very big price.
Quick story, Caroline Dickey, one of my former producers, eventually executive producer here in Louisville. I can remember like it was yesterday, right before the Kentucky Derby in 2008. Was that Mind That Bird or 2009?
2009, wasn't it?
Right before the Derby. She goes, Dan, I know you're going to the OTB to bet the Derby because you're a degenerate. She's like, you're running out to the OTB. So I'm driving out to the OTB. She's like, do me a favor, put $50 on Mind That Bird for me. I was like, Caroline, stop it. I was like, I'm not going to, like, you shouldn't waste it. She's like, I have a feeling, Calvin Burrell. What? I was like, Caroline, stop. Just save your money. I was like, look, I'll find another horse for you. I'm like, just trust me with your money. I'll bet it. I bet $50 in losing tickets for her. She has still till today, now we're 14 years later, 13 years, has never forgiven me. She would have won.
As she shouldn't, frankly.
What's 50 times 50? Is that $2,500 she would have won? She would have won, and I cost her $2,500 by not, I literally, she's like, just do me one, just bet this $50 on Mind That Bird. And I said no.
Tell people who to bet and who to
That was
get.
the last time I did.
There's no equity in this life talking people off of betting long shots that they like. I mean, if you ask me my opinion, I'm not going to shine you on. I'll tell you, well, for me,
it's like crypto and financial advice. You just can't do it.
Yeah, I will say at the end, though, but believe me, you got to, don't let, do what you want to do. But you ask me my professional opinion, I'm a professional, I'm going to give it to you. But don't let me talk you off.
Right. If you've got any reason to like a horse at that price, stick with it. At least bet a couple of bucks on that horse. Taiba 5-1. We've talked about this horse a lot during the show. I'm Team Taiba. You're still on, Pete.
I respect Taiba. This is not a sexy price on this horse. It's like the right price probably when you put everything in the hopper. But again, a horse to use for sure if you're doing bets with multiple runners in the race.
Right.
Simplification.
That's my long shot.
Yeah. Okay. So look, 40-1.
Like
again, a little bigger than I expected for a horse who's run honestly every single time.
Yeah, especially with Jose on there. That's how I'm picking him.
I think he's a very includable long shot. I have for a very small denomination in some of my pick bets. I think simplification's a little bit interesting.
Barber Road, again, runner-up in the Kentucky Derby. We've talked about him a little bit. Very honest, too. Always kind of seems to be
He's a
there.
hard trier.
So potentially underneath in your plays. White Barrio, we've talked about a little bit. Where do you come down on him, Danielle?
I don't know.
Not too excited.
No, and I love Tyler Gaffaliani.
Yeah,
that's my
that's
friend.
your boy.
That's
That was your original boy. You used to love him
that's
at first.
my friend, yeah, but...
Pete?
I think this is another horse where the market has it exactly right. He's got a chance. His price reflects that. I think I'm okay letting him beat me. I feel that'd be a great story. Safi Joseph Jr., young trainer, won the riding title at Gulfstream Park, dethroning Todd Pletcher, essentially. He's been enthusiastic about this horse since the beginning. I wouldn't, again, another one that I wouldn't blame anybody for using, but not one that I'm keying around.
All right, Cyberknife we've discussed. We're going to pass that. Classic Causeway and Tawny Port, both 67-1. Do we like either of these two horses?
Tawny Port could get a piece. Brad Cox again. We all know how good he is.
Bringing us home strong.
I think he can get a piece. I don't think he can win.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
We have two horses left. Zozos and Rich Strike. Any interest?
Zozo's very cool, tricky post, part of the pace position, and Rich Strike, I hope the Connections enjoy their day at the races. They got to run in the Kentucky Derby. How cool is that? Would be one of the biggest upsets in Kentucky Derby history if Rich Strike were to win.
So let's do this. We'll take this off the screen. We've got a couple of minutes before we got to wrap up. We're going to get a top four from you two right now, and then me. Let's start it off with Danielle. Who are your top four selections in the 2022 Kentucky Derby?
Okay, my top selections are Charge It. This is in no order.
Okay,
well,
you could box them.
Charge It's like my win
that's
bet.
your number one, right?
So yeah, Charge It, Cyberknife, I'm actually going Epicenter now.
Okay.
I've been swayed to Epicenter and Zandon only because Chet Brown, Flavian, I feel like it's a solid choice.
So for those watching at home, playing on TwinSpires, that's 8 Charge It, 16 Cyberknife, 3 Epicenter, and 10 Zandon. 8, 6, 3, 10 for Danielle.
Yes.
Pete.
Mo Donegal, keeping him as the top pick. It's really co-top picks with number 10 Zandon, but you got to make a call. So I'll go 110. Third place, we've talked so much about Charge It, the great pedigree, all the potential. Put him in third. And then for fourth, the horse I really think can win, would be an amazing story, Taba. I'm going to throw him in my fourth spot, the number 12 runner.
I like it. Taba just misses the cut for me. I have him fifth. I am with you, Danielle. Let's make this happen with Charge It. Charge It, top selection, the Kentucky Derby for me. I'm going to use Messier as my second choice. I think actually Messier goes to the lead, gets some token pressure, but at the end of the day, I think Messier is going to be relatively loose on the lead. And so I like Messier to hang on for a significant piece, finishing second. I've got Barber Road. You haven't heard me talk about Barber Road, but I do because I like Cyberknife as well, and I know you don't love that race that much.
No, but if one of them runs well, they can both run well.
And I've got them third and fourth. I've got Barber Road third, I've got Cyberknife fourth, and then Taba, like I said, just misses the cut for me. And I'm giving you another, even though I shouldn't give you a sixth horse, Simplification, because my dad put that horse in my ear and I haven't been able to get it out.
I'm glad someone mentioned Simplification. We've talked about him so much.
Yeah.
So I'm 8, 6, 14, 16.
It's worth throwing a little something on him. I think that's the long shot.
Before we wrap up, I want to get this guy in here because he has outfitted all of us with hats.
Hi.
Come in here, Blake.
Look at this hat.
This is Blake Seidel. This is from Cam Hats. Blake, this is the guy who provides all the hats with Christine Moore. Blake, how are you doing out there?
It's great. It's so great to be here. The excitement is like insane, man. I just walked through the whole infield and everybody's having a blast, partying and everything. I just have to say that Christine is the one that's responsible for all these amazing great hats.
We got to give you some credit there.
Yeah.
You know they usually follow my picks and they get angry at me when you lose. But give us your pick for the Kentucky Derby.
I can't even tell you, to be honest. I follow yours religiously. Whatever you go for, man, and whatever Peter goes for, I'm like on it. You know, that's where I am. You know. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yep. So great to see you.
We'll see you on the other side. Absolutely.
Cheers, buddy.
All right, so this is it. This has been Kentucky Derby Live, presented by TwinSpires. We are going to let Danielle defrost.
Yes, I can't wait.
We are going to go bet some races together.
Yes, going to bet.
And we should pool our money together as well.
Yeah, those picks at the end, we should mess around in some
Let's
combinations.
Let's do something. This has been a whole lot of fun. Thank you both.
Thank
Seriously,
you.
Thank you both. Pete, where can people find you? I mean, they know where to find you. Where can they find you?
Twitter's the easiest, just to get all the content at Looms Boldly, inthemoneypodcast.com. That's another good place to go. Or In the Money Media, wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube. If you like my act, you'll see a lot more of it there.
This has been Kentucky Derby Live. It's just a reminder, you can watch the Kentucky Derby at 6:57 p.m. on NBC. If you're streaming, you can watch it on the NBC Sports app and on Peacock. For Pete, for Danielle, I'm Dan. We'll see you next time.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.